What's up, everybody? Welcome to the weekend. It is officially the weekend. At least it is where I come from. Down here in South Florida, things just kind of get real lackadaisical on Friday, especially afternoon. So right now, as you can see in my adorned wardrobe, it is Casual Friday. I wore the button down all week, sometimes twice a day, and today is Casual Friday. As soon as this is over, I'm heading over to the beach, gonna check out the waves, the surf, have some fun, maybe have a late lunch. In any event, welcome to today's show. So, give you a little bit of programming notes as I begin every show. The programming notes are: we are seeing a press conference today at 1 p.m. So in about 26 minutes, we're going to go into a press conference scheduled to be with Caroline Leavitt. Not sure if the boss is going to make an appearance or not. What we do know is that sometime about 3 o'clock, so we're going to roll right from the press conference into the 3 o'clock hour. 3 o'clock, he's going to be signing even more executive orders. Don't give these people any time to rest. That's all I'm saying. And then later on, I'll do the night show at 7 o'clock. So right now, we're going to wait for Caroline Leavitt to get ready and get up here on the stage and do the press conference. Before we begin, I'm going to start it now. Hopefully I can get through most of it. We can continue afterwards. I just watched almost 10 days worth of congressional hearings, starting all the way back with Pete Hegseth and culminating in yesterday with Tulsi Gabbard. And what I saw, and you guys know I've been telling you about this for quite some time, I see a dead party. I see the Democrats as completely dead, not having any future, at least in a relatively short term. There's no leader, there's no message, they have nothing. And I see a lot of people on our side. I'm not even going to say the right, I'm just going to say our side, and you can take that for whatever you want, that seem to be worried that things, they're just not used to winning. Things don't seem the way they should be. And whether or not other people have an issue in terms of Tulsi maybe not getting confirmed, or RFK Jr. not getting confirmed, or Kash Patel not getting confirmed. I could be completely wrong, but I think all three of them are going to get confirmed. I'm not going to say it's easy, but I foresee all three of them being confirmed. Because I don't believe, actually let me rephrase that, I do believe that no one can stop what is coming. So I'm going to take a few minutes here, and I want to talk to you guys about because I've gotten emails. Barry, why do you feel this way? Why do you think the Democrats are done? What is it that's making you feel so confident right now? And why do you keep saying that these people are lost? Well, I'm going to tell you right now, and I'm going to tell you what I also believe Trump is doing. You see, a lot of what Trump is doing right now, especially with this DEI stuff, is a smokescreen. I don't have a waiver button, but if I had a little button here, I would put waiver, disclosure, opinion, no fact. It's just my opinion. I talked to Robin about this, and I'm thinking, this is all him turning the tables on the left. You see, we know what's important to us. They don't seem to understand what Trump is doing. I want to show you something. Many of you guys may have heard me refer to it a number of times, but I think it's imperative upon me to share this with you because it is this important. You ready for this? I want to is it not showing? What did I just do? Oh my goodness. My computer just decided it wanted to poop the bed. Don't know why it did this. Hold on, let me try and do something here real quick. Anyway, why it did this and didn't come back? All right, give me 1 second here because I have something I need to show you, and I'm not sure why it's not showing on the screen here. So what I'm gonna do is hopefully change this so that I can see what exactly is going on. Hold on. I don't know why I did this. Let me try this. Okay. This looks like this will work. I just have to... all right. I'm sorry. You start dealing with the technological stuff, and then this stuff happens. In any event, if you guys aren't familiar with the term called rules for radicals, Saul Alinsky, I was gonna show it to you on the screen so you could actually see it, but for some, oh, there it is. Okay, wait 1 second. Let me just hold on. I can get it fixed. Give me 2 seconds, because in order for me to do this, I have to change something, and hold on. And maybe now, yes, now it works. Boom! It's great to know technology, because if you don't know technology, you're going to be lost. And at least I can show it to you this way. This is something called Saul Alinsky's 12 Rules for Radicals. And I want you to take a look at this, because it's kind of important in order to understand what I'm saying and where I'm going with this right now. This is, if you look at, I'm going to see if I can zoom in here. Why is this not zooming in? I'm having problems with my computer this morning. Hold on. All right. I want you to see what I've highlighted. This is Saul Alinsky's 12 Rules for Radicals. And as you look down here, you can see number 4. Make the enemy live up to its own book of rules. If the rule is every letter gets a reply, then send 30,000 letters. You can kill them with this, because no one can possibly obey all of their own rules. This is a serious rule. The besieged entity, the Democrats, very credibility and reputation is at stake. Because if activists catch it lying or not living up to its own commitments, they can continue to chip away at the damage. What that means with that rule is, if you're a Christian, keep pounding them with stuff telling them you can't fight back, you had to turn the other cheek, and you're using their own rules that Christians live by. You're using that, and yeah, you're right. Oh yeah, and you can just keep pounding Christians, because they'll keep turning the other cheek. If you can't eat meat because or rather you eat meat and you're a vegan, I can keep hitting you with what you believe, and there's nothing you can combat at me with, because it's your belief. I can't convince you to eat meat. Trump understands that a core issue with the Democrats is all of this racism crap. All of this racism, and that's all they're talking about right now. All these executive orders, everything Trump has done, and the only thing in the news on every single channel 24/7 right now is DEI, DEI, DEI. He is using their own convictions against them. Because by using those convictions, they're doing 2 things. They're not paying attention to what he's doing, and they're turning off their audience. Understand that. Nobody gives a crap about this DEI. Oh, Barry, how can you say that? It's racism. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, okay. Well, then let me just show you something in case you forgot. Let's go back to, I don't know, November 4th, 2024. And if we went back to, I don't know, November of 2024, let me show you this. This is the most important issues, obviously the economy was, to the presidential vote. So I'm going to take you down here to a chart. And this chart here, as you can see, is what's most important to people when they voted. The economy, democracy, terrorism, the Supreme Court, immigration, education, healthcare, abortion, taxes, crime. I'm still going. You'd have to go all the way down here to the bottom to see race relations. So he's got them chasing their tail about race relations, and nobody cares. It is the most brilliant scheme that he could have possibly come up with. And I sit back and went, is anyone else looking at this? Is anyone else seeing that he's got them chasing their tails on something, and their entire focus right now, and I do mean entire focus, their entire focus is on race. None of the other stuff that people actually vote and care about are they focused on. He has used a socialist tactic. Rule number 4, make them focus on their convictions and use their convictions against them. You see this? It's ingenious. They can't not attack when it comes to race. They must attack. It is visceral. They can't even contain themselves. They don't even have a choice in this matter. It is reflexive. If I punch you, you're going to punch me back. That's a reflexive action. Right now, they feel like they've been punched with DEI and they can't focus on anything else but DEI. And I'm telling you, it's on every single liberal website, liberal news. It's everywhere. Well, hey, what about this? What about this? What about terrorists? What about this? Oh, no. Oh, no, DEI, DEI. And now with the unfortunate accident with the plane crash, it has made it even worse. Because he came out there and goes, yeah, that's because of DEI. And they lost their minds. They lost their ever-loving minds about it. I was just checking to see if she comes out yet. So before I get too far into it, I want to play this to you and prove to you, not even leave it up to any imagination, what is going on with these people.
So again, the president going to the briefing room yesterday as they were still pulling the bodies out of the Potomac, suggesting it was DEI that caused this disaster. The president citing diversity standards imposed by previous administrations. The Washington Post is fact-checking the president's claims this morning. The paper reporting the Obama administration in 2013 instituted a new hiring system for air traffic controllers that introduced a biographical questionnaire to attract minorities underrepresented in the controller corps. But Trump, in his first term, left the policy in place, and the FAA under Trump in 2019 launched a program to hire controllers using the very criteria he decried at his news conference. NBC's Peter Alexander pressed the president on that.
The cited FAA text that you read is real, but the implication that this policy is new or that it stems from efforts that began under President Biden or the Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg is demonstrably false. It's been on the FAA's website. No, it's on the website, the FAA's website. It was there in 2013. It was there for the entirety.
What I read.
It was there for the entirety of your administration too. So my question is, why didn't you change the policy during your first administration?
I did change it. I changed the Obama policy. And we had a very good policy. And then Biden came in and he changed it.
He did not change the policy again. And Jonathan Lemire, the fact that we're even having this conversation, this semantic argument over who put the policy in place as some kind of suggestion that it is what led to a helicopter flying into a passenger jet, killing 67 people without any evidence. Why are we even talking about that to begin with? But you wrote about that.
I can tell you why you're talking about it. You're talking about it because you can't not talk about it. It's not about the plane crash. Even in here, they're talking about whether it was. I'm not talking about the plane crash. I'm talking about their reaction to the fact, just the fact that he mentioned DEI, that he mentioned their religion. He came out and he assaulted them. We're in their softest of points. You're going to hear it today. I guarantee you, when Caroline gets up there, they're going to start talking about DEI again. They can't help themselves, which is perfect. He has taken their own religious conviction, the religion of race, the religion of grievances, to the point where now it's on every single mind of it on the left. They're losing it. They're even saying stuff that's not even true, which I'm going to show you what Jasmine Crockett said, and she got community noted and smacked by the rapid response team. It's incredible. I've never seen anything so amazing in marketing or rebuttal or response, and it's completely taken all of their eyes off the ball because they got nothing else. This is a core issue that they think they can win on, when literally November 4th, they were still doing it, and November 5th, they got spanked. Right now, we're going to talk to Mark Mitchell from Rasmussen next week. Every single poll says Trump is up 50, 55%. He's crushing, absolutely killing it. And all they can talk about is race.
this for The Atlantic yesterday about the president behaving like he's still running a campaign or that he's a businessman sitting at Mar-a-Lago lobbing conspiracy theories and attacks on opponents. What did you see in that briefing room yesterday, John?
Yeah, I was in the room when the president addressed the press there, the briefing, something he wanted to do, didn't defer to any of his officials. He himself wanted the spotlight, wanted the microphone, wanted the cameras, White House officials told me. Yes, this is yet another moment here. First of all,
why do you think he wanted the camera? White House officials, you notice what he just said, White House officials told him. Why do you think they told you that Trump wanted to be the one to come out here and say it? Because he wanted the smoke. He wanted the arrows. He didn't want Caroline to have to say something like this. He came out and said it. You guys bit hook, line, and sinker.
Fact-checking is really important. And good job by Peter, our colleague Peter Alexander. Good work there by the Washington Post. It is worth reiterating. This is, again, the first policies. The diversity initiatives were put in place by President Obama. Trump, while he was president, left them there. And then it was his own FAA, when he was in charge, that promoted programs about hiring those with disabilities to join that agency. And that yesterday, he, of course, tried to blame them in a wedge issue, speaking, in moments after a crisis, our nation reeling from it, choosing once again division. Also, lying about his record, very reminiscent, I will say, when he gained much traction from then Vice President Harris and the idea of transgender surgery provided for inmates in prisons. Well, we fact-checked it at the time and found that program also existed under the Trump administration. He, of course, when in his Bureau of Prisons promoted it, he, of course, did not change it while he was in office. But bigger picture, Willie, it's another moment where this president took a time of national tragedy and tried to use it to score political points and attack his foes. We've seen it a few times this month. The wildfires in Southern California, he blamed that on Democratic politicians. Before he was sworn in, the terror attack in New Orleans on New Year's Day, he blamed that on the border when it turned out, of course, that it was a U.S. citizen in Texas who carried out the attacks. His instinct is never to bring people together, but even in some stunning fashion, try to blame others and point fingers when, of course, as president, the ultimate responsibility should be lying with him.
And you can almost see him anticipating blame of his administration in some way and projecting that onto everyone else. He also blamed former Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg for various issues within the FAA. Buttigieg responded on social media writing, quote, "Despicable. As families grieve, Trump should be leading, not lying. We put safety first, drove down close calls, grew air traffic control, and had 0 commercial airline crash fatalities out of millions of flights on our watch." President Trump now oversees the military and the FAA. One of his first acts was to fire and suspend some of the key personnel who helped to keep our skies safe. Time for the president to show actual leadership and explain what he will do to prevent this from happening again. That's former Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg.
So as you see, they had to respond. Even Pete Buttigieg felt that he had to go out and do something and get from underneath his rock. This is, I'm telling you, I feel 100% confident in this. As I'm looking at Fox getting ready to do the briefing, they're talking about how Pete Buttigieg actually went into his profile on X and removed his pronouns. It's made national news, the fact that this guy took his pronouns out of his bio. Hey, why'd you take your pronouns out, dude? This religion that they've signed on to is destroying them. It will continue to destroy them because they have nothing else to run on, no other leaders. This stuff that I'm going to show you, it should feed you to the point where you're like, yeah, I understand now. I understand what this DEI stuff is all about.
Katie K, watching the president yesterday in that briefing room where Jonathan saw up close, reminded of people who said, you know what, he won a second term now. He's a 2-term president. He did it. Maybe he'll settle in and be the president a lot of people hoped he could be and put behind him the grievances and personal attacks and all of the things that he used to get back to the White House on the campaign trail. But in this first week, clearly no evidence that that's going to happen.
Yeah, or even that this would be the kind of calmer, more grown-up version of the first administration with Susie Wiles in as commander-in-chief. There had been some speculation that, yes, they would move.
The more grown-up version. Oh, he's acting like a petulant child. You know, this guy here, he's got right back to wetting his pants and peeing to bed at night. To them, he's a little child that has no self-control. He doesn't know what he's doing, when in fact, the guy is scripting out everything, whether it's in his head or in his war room. He knows exactly what he's doing. He's waited for this moment for 4 years. He watched everything you guys did. You're the ones who are caught with your pants down. The fact that you're running stories this morning about how he's basically offensive because he's going after the heart of liberalism, climate change, and DEI, which didn't show up on that list at all. And that's the part I want you to focus on. This is Morning Joe. This is how things started today. So this is the first news story that they had to talk about, and the first thing that came to their mind wasn't anything about what happened yesterday. Not the tariffs? Tariffs on Canada and Mexico? No. We don't talk about that. That's the economy. Let's not even worry about that. Confirmation hearings? No. What are we going to talk about this morning? DEI. Let's keep going.
Fast, the policies might not be policies that many Democrats would agree with, but things would be efficient and work effectively. I think what we've seen in the last 48 hours is that is not necessarily the case. We saw all of the funding drawn back for domestic grants in the country that had to be overturned very quickly. Then we saw the crash and the response to the crash. But it looks like Donald Trump is feeling extremely powerful and realizing that even if he says something or goes too far, then he's not going to get much pushback, right? I mean, yes, Pete Buttigieg came out with a tweet saying that this was despicable, but you have not had a complete outcry, uniform, from members of the Democratic Party.
You know, it's just really weird when I read stuff in here from people. When I say read, I'm looking at some of the comments. People are like, oh, I don't want to hear what they have to say. I don't want to, you know, I mute when they're on screen. Someone who has watched so much game film in my athletic career years and years ago, the way I got better, the way I was able to achieve what I achieved, was because I watched what my opponent was doing. Because I became educated to the point where I could see what they were going to do, sometimes often before they even did it. Hey, if you pick up your right hand and your left foot moves first, here's the move you're going to make. If you come at me with your hand over here, I know what you're trying to do. And so when people say, I don't have time for this, I don't even want to hear it, I can't even fast forward with, because you're not listening. I'm trying to give you information so you can be a better MAGA. I don't just want to have you on the sidelines. I want you in the game. If you don't want to be, I understand. Maybe this isn't the kind of videos that I do aren't for people who don't want to be in the game. I'm trying to help Trump build that bigger tent, and I think when I say build that bigger tent is get people ready for the war ahead. And there's a war coming. It's definitely coming, and this video is going to show you that when I continue after the press conference. Because if you don't think it's coming, you are going to be very, 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 very surprised. They with what I'm going to show you, the rest of this video, which I'm going to cut now until she comes on stage, is going to let you know, hey man, these people aren't stopping. And I just think it's, what would be the word, remiss to not be ready for it. Because we all could just go back to our corner of the world and pretend that everything is fine and it's never going to affect you. But that's not true. Things are going good right now. We're winning and waiting for people to get confirmed. And yeah, people can be passive. People can be on the sideline and be very passive about what's going on. But if that's the case, if you're passive and you're on the sidelines and you're letting other people do the work, is that really fair? Is that really fair to all the other MAGA supporters, because we're going to pull our own. We're going to get on X. We're going to roll up our sleeves. We're going to respond to people. We're going to let people know what we think. We're going to see the tactics that they use and you do countermeasures. Because that's what Trump is doing. He is doing countermeasures to make sure, absolutely make sure that we can continue winning, not tomorrow, not the day after that, 6 months from now, 8, 10, 12 months from now. And if you aren't keeping up on it, which maybe you don't want to, you're not going to see how to do this. They are very, and this is one thing I think you guys need to remember, they are a very formidable opponent. It won't be like this forever. We can laugh and go, oh, they're so stupid, and Adam Schiff is saying this stuff, and it doesn't make any sense what Jamie Raskin is saying. That's because right now they have no leader and they have no message. They will find it. They will find what that message is, and they will attack hard with it. And some of the people on our side will get tempted. Why do I know that? You know why that. And they will peel off. Something doesn't go well with Trump. Oh, yeah, I got sold a bill of goods. You need to be there. Hey, understand. Like so often. I got an email today. I got an email today from somebody who said, I don't trust Mark Zuckerberg. And I went, oh boy, here we go again. I don't trust Mark Zuckerberg. All right, why don't you trust Mark Zuckerberg? Well, I said something online, and they, what's going on over there? I said something online, and they fact-checked me, even though Mark Zuckerberg said I shouldn't get fact-checked. There's going to be no more fact-checking. And so I texted him, and I said, you understand that he's having a problem as well. It's a huge company. It's going to take a lot to right that ship. It's not going to right itself right off the bat. Understand that. I'm having a problem with my laptop, so I'm gonna put this on and let this run. Hold on. I don't know why I'm having issues this morning. Come on, Mr. Computer. You should be ready to fire. Yeah, I'm gonna let this run while I restart my computer because I don't want to miss anything. So I'm gonna put on right side, and I will be right back.
And Black Lives Matter, radical anarchists burning down businesses and actually killing people in uniform during that period. About 30 people were killed during those riots. And I said, why did you never do that? And he demanded again that I denounce President Trump. Can you imagine? So this is the government that he's now debating with on the future of Greenland. The Greenlandic people will have a referendum. I'm shocked it's coming this soon. I thought it would be decades away. But this spring, they're going to decide, do they want to go independent or remain part of Denmark? The Greenlandic people said to me, money has no color. They didn't care where investment came from. They just wanted to grow their economy and have great paying jobs. So we must, as the United States and the strongest Western power, secure Greenland on behalf of the American citizens. I support President Trump's idea to secure Greenland, however means it's necessary.
I remember seeing Trump Force One with Don Jr. and Charlie Kirk and others in Greenland, and there were people wearing MAGA hats there in Greenland with opening their arms to the people. They definitely want to see this happen in that country.
Yes, there's a lot of people supporting President Trump, but the Danish media and Danish government is attempting to get inside the people's heads there in Greenland. And they did a poll and said, oh, Greenlanders don't want to be part of the United States, so they don't want any connection with the U.S. When if you do a poll, the words you use will determine the outcome of that poll. So Greenlanders, they want opportunity. They want to learn to speak English, not Chinese, as their second language. They want success in their mining. They want to have successful tourism. They are really hoping to have infrastructure. There's not one road between two towns in Greenland. There was one mayor that tried to build like a three-wheeler kind of road between two towns. He couldn't get Denmark or Greenland to actually support and fund that road. So it lacks all significant infrastructure when it comes to, big companies investing. It's going to be so expensive and so difficult, but nothing's impossible for the United States.
Exactly. And if you're just joining us now, this is Carla Sands with the America First Policy Institute as we await White House Press Secretary Carolyn Leavitt in Washington. We might have to go break to that here in a second, Carla, but one more question. I'm sure Robert has some questions as well. Is the fact that you're involved with the energy sector of this country. You understand energy for the domestic policies. What is the first thing that you want to see done from the administration? And he's already signed some EOs on this, hasn't he?
He has, and he has a great team in place. So Doug Burgum, former governor, he is in charge. He's our energy czar now. So even though he's Interior Secretary, everything's going to flow through his office. And our great former executive director of our energy team at America First Policy Institute, Oliver McPherson Smith, he's going to be his right hand in getting these policies, getting everything harmonized from the different departments and agencies to turn on American energy. And what does that do? Working with our new energy secretary and interior, and now he invoked DOD as well in his executive order. I encourage people, if they're interested in energy, to read his executive order.
Can you stand by? Let's go to Washington right now. Thank you, Carla.
Thanks. No.
Good to see all of you. Happy Friday. It's great to be back with you. I want to provide an update on President Trump's actions in the wake of the catastrophic air collision that tragically claimed the lives of 67 people at Reagan National Airport on Wednesday night. Everyone in this White House continues to mourn the victims and keep their friends and families in our thoughts and prayers during this unimaginable time. First, within moments of the collision, the president and his newly appointed team were in immediate communication. The president was briefed on Wednesday evening following the crash, again on Thursday morning, and he has continued to receive updates as recovery efforts continue on the ground. The president, as you know, took time to address the nation yesterday afternoon. To deliver accountability, President Trump swiftly signed a memorandum directing an immediate assessment of the Federal Aviation Administration to ensure the federal government is maintaining the highest personnel and policy aviation safety standards. The memorandum directs the Secretary of Transportation and the FAA Administrator to immediately review all hiring decisions and changes to safety protocols made during the prior 4 years and to take all necessary corrective actions to achieve uncompromised aviation safety. The Federal Aviation Administration to ensure the federal government is maintaining the highest personnel and policy aviation safety standards. The memorandum directs the Secretary of Transportation and the FAA Administrator to immediately review all hiring decisions and changes to safety protocols made during the prior 4 years and to take all necessary corrective actions to achieve uncompromised aviation safety. The review will include a comprehensive assessment and reversal of any deterioration in hiring standards and aviation safety standards and protocols during the previous administration. Aviation safety was addressed by President Trump before this tragic collision even took place. On his second day in office, the president signed a memorandum to immediately stop Biden DEI hiring programs and return to non-discriminatory, merit-based hiring. And in 2018, during President Trump's first term, the Department of Transportation announced it would put an end at that time to use the biological questionnaire that was introduced by the Obama administration, which punished skilled applicants. President Trump has long led on the issue of aviation safety, and he will continue to do so. He will continue to deliver on the promises he made to the American people at record speed. The Senate has already confirmed 8 of President Trump's exceptional cabinet nominees, including most recently Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy, as you of course know, EPA Secretary Lee Zeldin, and Interior Secretary Doug Burgum, who is scheduled to be sworn in later today. We expect the Senate to continue quickly confirming the remainder of President Trump's well-qualified nominees in the days ahead. Earlier this week in the East Room, the president proudly signed the Laken-Riley Act into law, surrounded by Laken's loving parents and sister. This common sense bipartisan law mandates the federal detention of illegal aliens who are accused of theft, burglary, assaulting a law enforcement officer, and any crime that causes death or serious bodily injury, like the animal who murdered Laken Riley in cold blood. This was the first piece of legislation President Trump proudly signed as the 47th president of the United States, and it will guarantee that Laken did not die in vain. As Laken's mother, Allison, tearfully said during the signing event, President Trump said he would secure our borders and that he would never forget about Laken, and he hasn't. He's a man of his word, and we trust that he will fight for the American people. Those are the words of Laken's mother, and we will never forget them. So to help lock up even more criminal illegal aliens, President Trump signed a memorandum this week to detain them at Guantanamo Bay. This action will expand the Migrant Operations Center at Naval Station Guantanamo Bay to full capacity to provide critical extra detention space for high-priority criminal illegals. Our brave ICE agents continue to arrest more and more of these types of individuals every day in communities across our country. And I have more updates for you. On January 27th, 2025, ICE Chicago arrested a citizen of Guatemala who has been convicted of solicitation to meet a child, disturbing, and sentenced to 24 months probation. On January 28th, 2025, ICE Atlanta arrested a citizen of South Korea who has been convicted of 9 counts of possession or control of material depicting minors in sexually explicit conduct. On January 28th, ICE New York arrested a Mexican national previously charged by the state of New York for attempted murder and possession of a weapon and assault. And on January 28th, ICE Philly arrested a citizen of Mexico who has been convicted of possession of child pornography. Our message is simple. If you are a criminal illegal alien, you will be arrested and deported. On another important matter, the nation's report card was released this week, and the news is not good. It showed that U.S. students had record low reading comprehension scores last year. It's National School Choice Week, and in part of the president's commitment to education, he just left a roundtable in the Roosevelt Room focused on this issue with leaders from across the country. The national report card showed that 70% of 8th graders were below proficient in reading, and 40% of 4th graders did not even meet the basic reading levels. This is completely unacceptable to the president, and he continues to take aggressive actions to address this education problem in our country. He signed an executive order this week prohibiting federal funding of the indoctrination of our children, including radical gender ideology and critical race theory in the classroom. The president believes American education should focus on cultivating patriotic citizens who are ready for the workforce. And this action will help get schools back on track and defend fundamental parental rights in education. The president also signed a school choice executive order expanding educational freedom and opportunity for families. And in lighter news, but in exciting news, after announcing our briefing room changes on Wednesday, this White House has received more than 10,000 submissions from individuals across the country
Blaming
who are
black,
eager
brown
to
people,
join all
women,
of you.
people.
We might have to make this room a little bit bigger to do that, who want to participate in our new media seat at a future briefing. So in this seat today, we have the Ruthless podcast. They humbly started by entertaining small audiences on Capitol Hill, but after 4 years, this program has become one of the most influential podcasts in America. They previously reached #1 on the charts and earned over 25 million downloads as they deliver political news with a humorous touch. The hosts are Josh Holmes, Michael Duncan, Comfortably Smug, and the man joining us today, John Ashbrook. So with that, I will take your questions. John, please kick us off.
Thank you very much. You know, Caroline, in your first briefing, the media went after this administration for deporting illegal immigrants they claimed were not criminal.
That's
The
right.
question is, do you think they're out of touch with Americans demanding action on our border crisis?
The media out of touch? I think that media certainly is out of touch, and I think that's proven by a number of things, John. Number one, there was a New York Times poll that was released prior to President Trump's inauguration by the New York Times, which of course is a legacy media outlet, that showed that 83% of Americans support deporting the individuals that you mentioned, illegal immigrant criminals, especially those who have committed heinous crimes in the interior of our country. And I received a very actually interesting statistic on this front from ICE this week. 97% of the deportations that this administration has made thus far are of individuals who had a removal order from the previous administration, but were never removed from the interior of our country. So this shows that the previous administration was actually defying our laws, and all this administration is doing is simply following the laws, the immigration laws of this great country. Thanks for the question, John. Anything else?
No, that's it.
Okay, great. Peter.
Thanks. If President Trump is telling us that air traffic control towers are staffed with unqualified controllers, these DEI hires who never should have been brought on, then it's not safe to fly commercially, is it?
The president was asked and answered this yesterday, and he believes that it is still indeed safe, and Americans should feel safe traveling our skies. With that said, two things can be true at the same time, and we certainly have seen the deterioration of federal hiring standards at the Federal Aviation Administration, and the president wants to increase those standards. He wants pilots in this country who have the great responsibility of flying American citizens by the tens of millions every single day to be chosen for that position based on their merit and their skills. And so the administration will continue to prioritize this.
Was the air traffic controller in the DCA tower on Wednesday night hired or not fired at some point because of his or her race?
That investigation is ongoing. And so when we have updates on the exact individuals who were involved in the collision, including the air traffic controller, also the pilots of the helicopter and others, we will confirm those. I don't want to confirm names from this podium today. We're not in a position to do that. But I will say the president has still rightfully pointed out that there has been problems with the aviation industry over the past several years. And this started under Barack Obama in 2014.
And when the president says on Truth Social, the Black Hawk helicopter was flying too high by a lot, it was far above the 200-foot limit, that's not really too complicated to understand, is it? Is he suggesting a helicopter malfunction or a crew error or a crew doing this intentionally?
No, the president is simply stating what he said in that Truth Social post, which is that the helicopter was flying higher than it should have been, which is one of the reasons that led to this collision. And the other reasons for that are still being investigated, and I will let that investigation play out. Kelly.
Some of our colleagues have obtained a memo from the Defense Intelligence Agency that talks about not holding any activities or programming related to Black History Month to be in line with the president's views on diversity, equity, and inclusion. Does the president plan to have a proclamation about Black History Month? In his first term, each of the 4 years of his term, he did so and called on those in government to have programming activities and celebrations. Is he going to do that this year?
Yeah, the president looks forward to signing a proclamation celebrating Black History Month. I actually spoke with our great staff secretary. It's in the works of being approved, and it's going to be ready for the president's signature to signify the beginning of that tomorrow.
If an agency is calling off those kinds of activities in an attempt to be in alignment with the president's views on DEI and other things, should they adjust that now and have those programs and make those celebrations however they see fit in the office?
The president is leading here at the White House, and I'll leave it to the proclamation that he will sign very soon. Mary, great to see you.
Thanks for having us. So I wanted to follow up on the gender executive orders you mentioned. First of all, we know that President Trump has taken a bunch of steps to protect children from irreversible transgender procedures. Is he interested in backing congressional legislation on this point? And does the Trump administration have interest in investigating doctors who perform these irreversible procedures on kids, such as a double vasectomy on a minor girl?
Well, the president has already taken a very strong stance on this issue this week with the signing of his executive order, a few executive orders in this space. First, he made it the official policy of the federal government that there are only two sexes, male and female, and we have directed all federal agencies to comply with that policy. As for congressional legislation to support the president's agenda in this space, and certainly ending the mutilation of young children, the chemical castration of young children, which is a barbaric practice that the vast majority of Americans do not support for young minor children. Certainly the president would support Congress's efforts, as he has already made that very clear this week. Jennifer.
On Rick Grinnell's trip to Venezuela to meet with Nicolas Maduro, is there anything you can share on timing on that, what his agenda is, what the mission of that trip is?
Yes, so I can confirm that Rick Grinnell is in Venezuela today. I can confirm that Rick Grinnell is going to Venezuela, or is in Venezuela, with two immediate directives from the President of the United States. Number one, Rick Grinnell has been instructed to identify a place and ensure that repatriation flights of Tren de Aragua members, Venezuelan nationals who have broken our nation's laws, will land in Venezuela. As I said at this podium a few days ago, we expect every nation on this planet to cooperate with the repatriation of our citizens, and so Rick Grinnell is in Venezuela to ensure that can continue. And number two, Rick Grinnell is in Venezuela to ensure that all U.S. detainees in Venezuela are returned home. That's his mission, and I will provide a readout after this trip.
On Bob Menendez, can you tell us if anyone has approached the White House or the president about a pardon or a commutation?
I have not been part of those discussions. If they have, I am not sure if they have, but I won't speculate on potential pardons that may or may not happen. To my awareness, the answer is no. Justin.
Hey, friends at Reuters are reporting that the president has made a decision on the Canada and Mexico tariffs, but that they won't actually be implemented until March 1st. I was wondering if you could confirm that and talk through some of the president's thinking.
I saw that report, and it is false. I was just with the president in the Oval Office, and I can confirm that tomorrow, the February 1st deadline that President Trump put into place at a statement several weeks ago, continues. The president will be implementing tomorrow a 25% tariffs on Mexico, 25% tariffs on Canada, and a 10% tariff on China for the illegal fentanyl that they have sourced and allowed to distribute into our country, which has killed tens of millions of Americans. These are promises made and promises kept by the president.
The president yesterday said that last night he was planning to discuss whether an exemption would be made on oil imports. Do you have any information on what decision he made there, or will there be exemptions at all offered under this?
I don't have an update or readout for you on the exemptions, but those tariffs will be for public consumption in about 24 hours tomorrow, so you can read them then. Stephen Nelson.
Thank you very much, Caroline. I have three questions, if that's all right. I'd like to ask you about press freedom and then about two economic matters.
Sure.
On press freedom, on Tuesday, you announced plans to roll back the more restrictive press badge policy of the Biden White House. But there's a different anti-press freedom policy I wanted to ask about. The Biden White House adopted a mysterious pre-screening process for journalists allowed into large event spaces that in the pre-pandemic days, first Trump term, were open to all journalists on campus. This effectively limited the diversity of reporters present and blocked the asking questions that large segments of the American public wanted answered. As press secretary, can you commit to abolishing this mysterious pre-screening process?
There were a lot of mysterious processes that my team and I have had to unravel over the past 2 weeks that were implemented by the previous White House and in particular the previous press shop here. And so I can commit to a greater access and transparency, which I believe we already have by ensuring that the 440 journalists whose credentials were revoked will be reinstalled. They will get their credentials if they wish to. We've also, of course, opened up a new seat to new media. And as far as open press events here at the White House, if we tell you it's open press, it's open press.
So just to confirm, this pre-screening thing is something you're aware of and you work to undo to the maximum extent possible.
When we say something is open press, it will mean it's open press.
Economic matters, and I can just ask them both at once for you. In New York City, Governor Hochul's congestion pricing went into effect this month. Vehicles that drive through parts of Manhattan have to pay a $9 toll. President Trump has made clear his opposition. He said that it's, quote, the most progressive tax known to womankind. Will the administration be trying to block this? And the second question is millions, maybe tens of millions of Americans who voted for President Trump were excited about his plans to do away with taxes on tips, overtime, Social Security benefits, but there's uncertainty about the timing of this. So can you clarify for them when this is going to happen? And does President Trump want this to be in the first, all three of those in the first batch of legislation early this year?
Well, to answer your question in one swoop, I will say that President Trump is committed to lowering taxes for Americans, cutting taxes for Americans. As for congestion pricing in New York, I do know that the president spoke with Governor Hochul about that. I don't have any, actions, so to speak, to read out for you on that issue today. Number two, when it comes to no taxes on tips and Social Security, the president has made it very clear to our allies on Capitol Hill that is a critical piece of this reconciliation package, and he expects that his tax cuts from 2017, which put a lot more money back into the American people's pockets, those must be implemented, and no tax on tips. The president is intent on delivering on that promise, and he will get it done.
Overtime also as part of reconciliation?
Yes. Sure.
Thanks, Caroline. Can you guarantee that those tariffs won't increase prices for Americans, including at the gas pump and the grocery store?
I think Americans who are concerned about increased prices should look at what President Trump did in his first term. He effectively implemented tariffs, and the average inflation rate during the first Trump administration was 1.9%. In fact, when President Trump left office, it was 1.4%. So President Trump is going to do everything he possibly can to cut the inflation crisis that the previous administration imposed on the American people, and he will continue to effectively utilize tariffs.
If those tariffs do increase prices for Americans, will the administration reverse them?
That's a hypothetical question, and the president is intent on ensuring that he effectively implements tariffs while cutting inflation and costs for the American people. And, the media has this way of just looking at everything in a microscope rather than looking at the whole of government economic approach that this president is taking. He will effectively implement tariffs. He's also, as I just answered from Stephen's question, committed to tax cuts. He's also clearly committed, as evidenced by his executive orders, to unleashing the might of our energy industry, which we know will eventually drive down inflation. And all the other economic measures that this president has made will have a Trump incoming economic boom, just like we saw in our first term.
And has the White House found any
Fox Business?
Yes.
Yeah,
Thanks. Keep that going.
Welcome.
Justin Trudeau, the Canadian Prime Minister, said today that if the U.S. imposes tariffs, he will respond and he will not relent until the tariffs are removed. Are we seeing the start of a trade war with Canada?
I don't think so. I think the president is going to implement those tariffs tomorrow, and he will respond to Mr. Trudeau's comments in due time, I am sure.
What type of things have to happen? What does the administration need to see in order to avoid those tariffs?
Well, the tariffs are incoming tomorrow on Canada. And the reason for that is because both Canada and Mexico have allowed an unprecedented invasion of illegal fentanyl that is killing American citizens and also illegal immigrants into our country. In fact, I have more language for you right here. Canada, Mexico, and China, which, as I mentioned, President Trump will implement a 10% tariff on China, have all enabled illegal drugs to pour into America. The amount of fentanyl that has been seized at the southern border in the last 2 years alone has the potential to kill tens of millions of Americans. And so the president is intent on doing this. And I think Justin Trudeau would be wise to talk to President Trump directly before pushing outlandish comments like that to the media.
If I may, one more.
Yes, Lindsay.
Let me go back to the plane crash for let me go back to the plane crash for just 1 second.
You're interrupting your colleague, but sure.
Sorry, I thought you called on me.
I called on Lindsay.
The president this morning said the Black Hawk helicopter was flying too high. I'm wondering if he's basing that on what he learned from investigators, and if you could offer a little bit more of a window into how he is keeping abreast of this investigation.
Sure.
Is the NTSB briefing him separately? Is he meeting in the Situation Room? You just sort of offer a window into that.
Yeah, the president based that statement on truth because it is truth and it's fact, and it was relayed to him by the authorities who are overseeing the investigation into this horrific plane collision. And the president, as I said in my opening remarks, continues to be briefed on the collision by everybody across his cabinet, the Secretary of Transportation, the Secretary of Defense, the NTSB, who the commissioner there was in the Oval Office with him yesterday. Lindsay.
Lindsay,
go ahead. Lindsay, go ahead.
In recent days, the CIA actually revealed that they do also believe that COVID-19 was from a lab leak in Wuhan, China. How is the president planning on responding to this additional intel from the CIA, and will it impact how he responds to them with tariffs?
Yeah, kudos to John Ratcliffe for revealing that truth and that fact to the American people. Many years too late, the Biden administration had a chance to let the American people know the truth about that, and for some reason, they chose not to. I also would just like to point out that several years ago, when I was working in this press shop and President Trump would take to this podium to brief the American people on COVID-19, he suggested that COVID very well may have came from a lab in Wuhan, China. And many members in this very room mocked him for that, said he was spewing conspiracy theories. He was not. We now know that to be the confirmable truth. It took many years for it to come out, but the president was right in this instance again. Sure.
Caroline, thank you. I wanted to ask about Secretary Rubio's trip to Panama first. Sure. What did the conversations look like with President Trump on that? The president of Panama says it is, quote, impossible to negotiate over the canal. So what are you expecting from this visit?
So I have not been present for Secretary Rubio's conversations with President Trump about the Panama Canal. I have been present for President Trump's own thoughts on the Panama Canal, and you've all seen them as well in his public statements that he has shown. He believes it's unacceptable that the canal is essentially run by the Chinese Communist Party. If you look at both ends of the canal, massive Chinese Communist Party linked companies run the canal. That's unfair to the American people, many of whom lost their lives many years ago building this canal. The American taxpayers are paying millions of dollars for the canal, and the president believes it's in our national interest as a nation for Secretary Rubio to go there and begin these discussions, and that's exactly why he's doing that.
Caroline.
Sure.
Thank you very much, Caroline. Is the United States in the process of pulling out of Syria militarily? Because the president wanted to do that in his first term as well, and he had a lot of pushback from the Pentagon and Congress. And based on what he said yesterday, is he considering doing that in a short time?
The president was asked and answered this question yesterday, and he, as the commander-in-chief of the United States military, reserves the right to review troop deployments overseas at any point in time.
Is that a topic right now?
Yes.
Thank you. Two questions. So we now know that the staffing was not normal at the air traffic tower, and so with the government freezing the hiring of new federal workers and offering buyouts, are you not afraid that more incidents of different kind could happen with less staffing in different agencies?
Well, the president is intent on ensuring that we are increasing staffing at these agencies, and that's why he signed a very strong executive order on his second day in office, immediately terminating DEI hiring practices at the FAA. He also, following the tragic crash, as you all know, in the Oval Office yesterday, signed a memorandum directing an immediate assessment of the FAA to ensure the federal government is maintaining the highest personnel and aviation safety standards. And I would also just say there's a cultural piece to this as well. If you are an American who has spent many years studying aviation, and you graduate from school and you're an air traffic controller based on skill and merit, and then you apply for a job and you're forced to fill out a biographical questionnaire asking you the color of your skin and asking you where you're from in details that aren't relevant at all to the job description, I think that deteriorates the morale of people in this industry. And if you talk to people in this industry, they'll tell you that. In fact, many of them filed a lawsuit against the FAA a couple of years ago under Joe Biden's administration because they were denied positions because of this DEI hiring practice that was putting identity politics over merit and skills. That's unacceptable. And I think just to put a fine point on this, because this is the third or fourth question I've answered on this subject, when you are flying on an airplane with your loved ones, which every one of us in this room has, do you pray that your plane lands safely and gets you to your destination, or do you pray that the pilot has a certain skin color? I think we all know the answer to that question, and as President Trump said yesterday, it's common sense. Rob Crilly.
Yeah, I'd just like to follow up on that last question, actually. Has there been any sort of assurance from the FAA that they will immediately improve staffing levels, given the reports of not normal staffing levels on Wednesday?
Oh, absolutely. You had Secretary Duffy here yesterday at the White House at this podium saying that he is on it, and we can all trust that he definitely will be. John Decker.
Thanks a lot, Carol. You called on me, right?
Yes, I did.
Thank you very much.
As long as your name's still John Decker.
It is.
Absolutely. Thank you. The president's meeting today with the founder and CEO of NVIDIA. What is that meeting concerning, and who sought that meeting?
I don't have details on this. It's a private meeting. It will take place at 2:30 p.m. I'll try to get there in time, and I can let you know after. How's that?
On Guantanamo Bay, can you give more details about setting up that detention facility at Gitmo? How will that come about? What's the timing in terms of standing it up? And of course, this has happened before during the Clinton administration.
Yeah, that's right.
Detainees of Cuban and Haitian descent were both detained at Guantanamo. Are you looking at that model in setting up this detention facility?
Secretary Hegseth, I believe, was on television this morning answering this question, and he said that the Department of Defense is already on it. He has directed his agency to ensure that Gitmo is increasing their capacity for beds, and that's exactly what President Trump's executive order did. It directed Secretary Hegseth and also Secretary Noem to expand the Migrant Operations Center at the Naval Station to provide for this extra detention space. And as Secretary Hegseth confirmed this morning, that operation is underway. Sure.
Caroline, on the tariffs, can you clarify whether those will actually be going into effect tomorrow, or
Yes.
whether there might be some lead time?
Yes.
And are those, they will be going into effect tomorrow?
Correct.
And are those meant to be in place long term, or is there a scenario in which Canada, Mexico, and China can offer concessions and then they would be removed?
At this point, the president has made it very clear those tariffs are going to be implemented and in effect. If the president at any time decides to roll back those tariffs, I'll leave it to him to make that decision. But starting tomorrow, those tariffs will be in place. Sure.
Thanks, Caroline.
Yes.
Can you confirm a report by our friends at the Daily Mail that the British Prime Minister Keir Starmer is going to be visiting the White House in February? And also, if I may, do you have any more details on Netanyahu's visit here next week?
Sure. I have not seen that report about the Prime Minister. I can go check back with our friends at the National Security Council and get back to you on that. I can confirm that Prime Minister Netanyahu will be here on Tuesday, February 4th, for a working meeting and visit with the president. And I'm sure you will all be here, very excited to cover that visit. Sure. Daniel.
Thank you, Caroline.
You're welcome.
Back on the Guantanamo Bay subject, specifically, obviously, why does the president feel like that's the best location or a good location to make sure that Americans are safe from violent, illegal migrant crime?
Well, it's a really good question, and the memorandum that he signed, the order that he signed, builds on his previous executive actions, obviously, to secure our southern border and deport illegal criminals from the interior of our country. We know that we have an issue with detention space here in the interior, which is a big reason why Congress needs to pass this reconciliation package as quickly as possible to ensure that DHS and ICE have the funding they need to detain these individuals that the administration is very swiftly rounding up and deporting, arresting and deporting these illegal immigrant criminals. And so the president feels it's an appropriate place. Taxpayers are already funding it. The space is there. Why not use it? And the Secretary of Defense, as I said, is working on that as we speak. Sure.
Caroline,
yes.
Thank you so much for having me here answering a question. So I want to talk more about the success that ICE is having finding these violent criminal aliens, some of them being sexual predators. But my friend Ben Bergquam reports that the Chicago mayor and the Illinois governor are preventing ICE agents from going into jails and prisons to enforce detainers against illegal aliens. In Maryland, the Attorney General has also put out a memo hindering local police cooperation with ICE. Does the administration have any comment on leftist state and local officials defying ICE and Trump's deportation efforts?
Yeah, I think it's very interesting that Democrat officials in these cities who have been completely overrun and overwhelmed by illegal immigrant criminals would refuse support and help to cure this problem that has especially taken over their cities. I guess they don't want to admit they've been wrong with their sanctuary city policies. I'm not sure. You'll have to ask them about their intentions, but they would be very wise to comply with this administration because this administration is hell-bent on enforcing our nation's immigration laws, and this administration will continue to arrest and detain and deport illegal migrant criminals. And what we won't do is defy our nation's immigration laws like the previous administration, who had these orders of removal on illegal immigrants across the country and were refusing to execute on them. We will continue to remove illegal criminals from our nation's interior.
Are these sanctuary city leaders, are they violating the law?
I would certainly think so. I'd have to check back on which specific law they're violating, but certainly if they're not enforcing our nation's immigration law, sounds like they are breaking the law. And I would also add that their constituents don't approve of that. You've seen residents in Chicago show up at their city council meetings infuriated with their leadership in that city because they are working very hard to provide for their families. They want public safety and law and order, and their officials have abandoned those very basic American principles in these cities. And the American people want law and order. It's, again, an overwhelmingly popular policy to deport illegal criminals from our nation's interior, and this administration will continue to affect that goal. Sure.
A question on Colombia. We just interviewed Colombian President Gustavo Petro, and he insisted that he's not going to take any Colombian deportee from the U.S. if they arrive in South America handcuffed. How this administration responds to that?
When did the Colombian president make those remarks?
Today, during an interview with us at Univision.
Well, I will share those with the President of the United States, and I will get back to you on his response.
What happens if Nicolas Maduro? Caroline, there are more than 150,000 disabled Americans who are working today. The president talked a lot yesterday about hiring the best and the brightest to work in the federal government. Safety aside, does he believe that disabled people do have a place to work in the federal government? And does he also support the current protections for disabled people working in the private sector as well?
The president has made it very clear that this is a common sense solution to solving some of the problems that we have seen at the Federal Aviation Administration and also when it comes to many of the federal agencies across our government. People should not be hired based on their disabilities, based on their skin color, their gender, their race. None of that matters. What matters to this president and this administration is how well you can do your job, and the American people agree with that sentiment. So it's about competence, skill, and merit. And so the president is focused on ensuring that the most competent individuals, the best and the brightest in this country, are in positions in this federal government, especially when it comes to public safety. Can't overemphasize the importance of those jobs.
Disabled people is my So just follow up on her question before. President Trump is holding China accountable on fentanyl by ramping up tariffs. So how is President Trump planning to hold China accountable on COVID origins?
I haven't spoken to the president about the COVID origins specifically in regards to any actions he may or may not take when it comes to China. But as I have previewed quite a few times today, he will be implementing a 10% tariff on China tomorrow. Sure. Hi.
Has the president made up his mind about a timeline for tariffs on the EU?
No, he has not.
And will it be a one-size-fit-all, or will it be differentiated among the governments?
I won't get ahead of the president on tariffs when it comes to the European Union. What I can tell you, again, is that the president will be implementing 25% on Canada, 25% on Mexico, 10% on China tomorrow for the reasons that I have repeatedly laid out in this briefing. Newsmax, go ahead. Yes.
Thank you so much.
No, the gentleman behind you.
James Rosen.
Yes, James. Thank you.
Thank you, Caroline. Two quick questions on foreign policy, and then one very long and tedious and ponderous Rosen question thereafter. First, on Iran, we've heard very little about the president's forthcoming Iran policy besides his determination to prevent that nation from achieving a nuclear weapons capability. Is it the president's objective, short of the use of U.S. military force, to use the broad array of his powers to try to hasten the end of the Iranian regime?
I think the president has actually made his position on Iran very clear, and he made that clear when there were the negotiations about the ceasefire, which we know obviously is now in place, and the deadline on that ceasefire has continued. He said that Hamas and Iranian-backed terrorists would have hell to pay if that ceasefire didn't move forward, and then quickly thereafter it did. I also do have news on the hostage front, which I'm very surprised nobody asked about this because it is big news story, and the White House applauds the release of 8 additional hostages from Hamas captivity, thanks to the ceasefire deal secured by President Trump. 3 Israeli and 5 Thai nationals are being reunited with their families and their loved ones after being held in unspeakable conditions for over 15 months. And the president remains committed to the release of all remaining hostages, and they should have never been taken by the brutal terrorist group Hamas in the first place. And I think think President Trump's working meeting with the Israeli Prime Minister next week emphasizes his continued support for Israel and ensuring that brutal terrorists in that region have hell to pay. Sure.
Can I just finish the other two questions?
Sure.
I know you want the long, ponderous Rosen one. But first, on the Grinnell trip, as you know, under the previous administration, the U.S. recognized the opposition candidate in last year's elections, Edmundo Gonzalez, now exiled, as the legitimate president of Venezuela. Does the president's dispatching of Ambassador Grinnell to negotiate directly with President Maduro today mean that the U.S. now officially recognizes President Maduro as the legitimate president of Venezuela?
Absolutely not. As I made it very clear, former ambassador and now special envoy Rick Grinnell is going to Venezuela with two very clear directives. Make sure that Tren de Aragua members, of which there are 400 currently in custody, are repatriated back to Venezuela, and that all United States detainees return home. Thank you very much, guys.
Just on the president's use of language in this room yesterday, and without seeking to cast myself as some kind of moral exemplar because it's rather late in the day to try. Nonetheless, this was an event yesterday that began with a moment of silence for the victims of the air crash and the president's own invocation of, quote, a loving God. And then he uncorked that expletive to insult a former cabinet officer. It was the same expletive that I saw him use in the East Room in 2020 when he famously held up the Trump acquitted headline. My question is, if you could shed any light for us on how the president perceives his use of public profanity, which is a practice that certainly sets him apart from all of his predecessors. Does he regard it as an effective communications device, part of his appeal, or is it something that he lapses into inadvertently, perhaps in times of frustration and later regrets?
I think one of the things that the American people love most about this president is that he often says what they are thinking, but sometimes lack the courage to say themselves. And I think yesterday at this podium, you heard President Trump express great frustration, perhaps even anger, with the previous administration's policies, many of which have led to the crises that our country is currently facing and that this president is focused on fixing. Thank you guys very much. Have a great weekend. We'll see you next week.
Oh, you can read between the lines of that last thing she said. Hey, do you think his use of like coarse language is something, he says what most people are actually thinking? I remember there used to be this guy, big guy, used to make videos on YouTube. Somebody I used to watch and go, wow. And he was I think his handle was the man from Boston or the guy from Boston or something. And he's like, I'm just the guy out here who says what you're actually thinking. And yeah, that's what people are actually thinking. It's BS. So I'm glad that he brought up the whole thing about Pete Buttigieg. Because while we're talking, Trump went ahead and dropped something. He's not playing with this DEI crap whatsoever. So look at this. Just in, the Trump administration orders federal employees to remove all pronouns from their email signatures by today at 5 p.m. He's making them scurry like little rats. He's making them go absolutely nuts. They can't even take the stuff that he's doing at this point. Let me get back to what I was saying, because then you just heard it. It was a perfect lead-in. You heard the number one question over and over, DEI and Transformer stuff. They said it over and over and over again. So much so that she had to remind them again, oh, by the way, why are none of you talking about the hostages? And so then she had to tell them, we got 8 more. Why am I telling you this? Why are none of you asking that question? Why? Because the DEI insanity is driving them crazy. And I'm telling you, the way this guy talks, nothing is by chance. Just imagine yourself, everywhere you went, no matter where you went, you knew the focus was on you. You know that every camera, every microphone, every cell phone, anywhere you are, is looking to see what you're going to do. So if you're used to living in that kind of bubble, and because he did it in the biggest one in New York, he understands I am the center of attention. This time I happen to be president. I'm not a New York real estate developer. I am the president, but it's still everyone's looking at me. So he knows with every word, every post on Truth Social, everything he does, whether it sounds belligerent, whether it sounds profane, whatever it sounds like, he's telling you what he actually thinks. You see, his use of profanity, which I'm sure some people, I see it sometimes if I slip up, causes some people to actually recoil. They don't like the idea that that happens. But there's one thing you don't question. And because he does it, it underscores this thing that you never question. And that one thing that you never question, when in regards to Donald Trump, you do not question, nor does the left question. You may have a problem with it, but they don't question his authenticity. They know that's him. Don't piss him off. Remember, the fedora, the pinstripe suit, and a little FAFO sign. I'm letting you know, F around, and you're going to find out. I don't care. I have no care. I have no F's to give. You tried to kill me. And that would have been her best answer. That would have, because notice no one in the press conference ever asked about the picture. Hey, do you think it was appropriate for President of the United States to go ahead and put a picture of him looking like a gangster with FAFO behind it? Nope, they didn't even bother asking. Because they got the flipping message. You see, you can ask her these questions. She has to be nice. She's a press secretary. Why didn't you ask Trump that yesterday? He was taking questions. Hey, President Trump, why are you talking like this? Hey, Caitlin Collins, you're stupid. He's saying what he wants. I don't care at this point. You tried to kill me. And so when I'm talking to you guys about the war you're in, you may not realize it, but you are in it. It's happening all around you, as you could see in this press conference. And why I say you have to be ready for it is because he knows it. He knows he's got to put on the armor of God every time he steps out into public. The enemy is surrounded. They're surrounding us. They're weak right now, but they will try to regroup and come back at you. Have no doubt about that. And if anyone thinks that they're done and we've vanquished them, you're in for a whole lot of pain. There's no way that these people are done. They're just hurting. They're licking their wounds. And this DEI thing keeps their eyes off the ball. You just saw it. They didn't even bring up the hostages. Big news. We just got 8 people released. Okay, can we talk about DEI? Okay. Big news. We just got the hostages released. Did he have to say Pete Buttigieg was BS yesterday? Big news. We just went ahead and put 10% tariffs on China. Yeah, but, we just saw people die yesterday. You're all in your feelings. What I started this show with, you just saw it exemplified live. The hostages I understand people died, but people just got lived, whatever you want to call it. They got released from captivity. That should be like, oh my God, this is the best thing ever today. Great news, Caroline. I cannot believe these people were released. God bless these people for what they've gone through with 460 days in captivity in some desert with nuts. No, can you say why you would say this stuff about the DEI? As I mentioned, it is one of Saul Alinsky's rules. Rule number 4. You'll never forget it. Use your convictions against you. If this is what you believe, you will protect it with everything at the detriment of the stuff that's happening around you. And you're seeing it. And so let me continue with what I was saying in terms of their DEI, because it's so Just watch.
With disabilities for that air crash. I mean, let's be honest, that's what diversity is. And that is what the president said, that black, brown people, women and people with disabilities caused this crash. I mean, where is the outcry a coordinated outcry from Democrats? Now, they've been tied up in the hearings on the Capitol Hill. It's just this sense that Donald Trump wants to have a fight. The fact that he signed a memorandum even after that press conference doesn't suggest at all that he thinks he went too far in that press conference. Quite the contrary, he wants to push it even further. And he thinks that there'll be, even if nothing happens that's positive, there'll be very little pushback from a Congress that seems to be either cowed on the Democratic side or compliant on the Republican side.
Well, clearly the president has a racial obsession, and he's using...
So the right reverend says the president has a racial obsession. Funny. Do you see it that way, or do you see it that these people have the obsession? He's not out there giving speeches on anything to do with race. Correct me if I'm wrong, I don't know what race DEI is. If anybody knows what race DEI stands for or represents, let me know. How is it racial? But that's what they want you to keep thinking, or at least they want their people to keep listening to.
Whatever race baiting he can to get elected and maintain. But you would think when we're seeing 67 people that have been killed by an accident and that their families are dealing with the shock of that he would try and appeal for all of us to, one, mourn the families and give the families our grievances, condolences, and prayers, and bring us all together, because any of us could have been on that flight. All of us fly back and forth to Washington a lot. Rather than do that, he does 3 minutes of let's pause in silence, and then let's blame the blacks, let's blame the disabled. I mean,
whoa. That is not at all what happened. See how they twist that? Let's blame the blacks, let's blame the disabled. That's not what he did. If anything, what he did, it was blame the policy. Not one word came out of his mouth and said, I blame black people for this plane crash and I blame Transformers for the helicopter. No, I blame the policy. I'm sorry people like Al Sharpton think that not following DEI is an affront and some sort of assault on a certain color. There's nothing about the DEI ideology that makes me feel less of a person. And there's nothing about the DEI ideology that makes me think I'm entitled to more. It's ridiculous. Caroline Levitt is offering spaces to podcasters to come up in a press conference, go all the way to Washington and ask one question. And while we're talking, I get texts from people going, Barry, well, you got 300,000 more subscribers than that person that she picked. I don't care. I'm not in a race. I don't change. You never see me. I used to say, hey, hit the like button. You used to hear me. I used to play this a lot. It's still here.
Come on, show some love and click that like button.
Some of you may have never heard that. Why? Because I just went, I don't care. I don't care if people get mad and don't come back. I don't care if people don't subscribe. I have a message that I believe in. It's authentic, and I want people, and I want an audience, and I want participants who want to listen. And if my message isn't something they want, there's other people to go to. So I'm not upset that the people who just got picked got to go to the White House with 300,000 less supporters. I'm not out there going, but they're white. No, I'm happy for you. I'm happy for you. You know why? Because that makes me want to push even more. That means I got to get my message out in front of her more until I get called. I'm not going to sit back and go, but about the DEI.
This kind of venom is beyond someone that I think is capable of having some kind of human feeling. And Senator Kaine, as we look at the president race baiting and pouring these kind of assertions on the disabled and others. The fact.
What kind of a moral and mental midget do you have to be to listen to this and believe it? Believe me, as I'm watching this, it turns my stomach as well. But the only reason I'm showing it to you is that you understand they got nothing. And nothing at all. And this is the entirety of everything they've built. It was either climate change or racism. There is nothing else. And they can't change. And so what I believe Trump is doing is, let me go ahead and keep throwing them this fodder. Let me keep putting wood on this fire that they'll sit there and fan, and they won't pay any attention to, 8 hostages coming back. Or 10% tariffs going on Mexico, China, and Canada. Or you name it. Gitmo. They don't care. They don't. It's racist. It's racist. It's racist.
And he never, Pete Alexander raised it, never changed the policy that President Obama had started. He never changed it in the 4 years he was in. So he's obviously trying to just play to a certain crowd. How do we?
He's obviously playing to you, moron. We don't care. We're watching you guys circle the bowl. We're watching you do that.
We deal with this misinformation in the middle of not lowering our standards to his, but also separate the DI issue, which is a real issue, something of concern, from being gaslighted by the bias of the president.
Well, Reverend Sharpton, thanks for, critiquing this and pointing out how insensitive it was to the family members for the president to do that. But I wish I had been a reporter in that room, because I think the president was race baiting to take attention away from this. He let Elon Musk force the resignation of the FAA administrator at the beginning of the administration. He disbanded on day 2 of the administration an aviation safety committee within DHS, and the reason for disbanding it is we want to focus on national security. What, air safety isn't national security? He has got an OMB director who was pushing a hiring freeze and federal funding pauses, saying, I want to traumatize the federal workforce when we already have too few air traffic control.
We want to traumatize the federal workforce. So he's spewing barely truth stuff. Jasmine Crockett is out there getting community noted on X because they don't have a message if they're not allowed to lie. They're the ones who say other people are putting out misinformation, but they're the ones who keep getting caught doing it. Specifically, air traffic controller positions were accepted from the freeze. Maybe they didn't even know. They should know now because they've been spanked all day. Nope, it's specifically accepted. There was no freeze put on air traffic controllers. But they don't go back and correct themselves, and their audience, whatever dwindling number it is, just keeps hearing BS.
This president is starting off just within a week and a half an anti-safety agenda that is going to hurt our air safety, and he desperately did not want to be asked about that. I think that's why he went the race baiting route, because he realized, wow, we just sacked the FAA administrator, we just sacked the Aviation Safety Board. Man, they're going to come after us. We better blame somebody else.
President Trump's still harping on the DEI policies this morning, as Yamish brought us. When you see this administration rolling back diversity initiatives and using DEI as a catch-all culprit for various problems, does that track with the reality you saw when you were ahead of a massive department?
No. And part of it is that DEI has become a catchphrase for anything bad. If anything is bad, it's DEI. a helicopter hits a plane going down the Potomac River. Oh, well, that must be DEI. I think the president has a habit of latching on to a few things, and then he just repeats them and repeats them and repeats them. And of course, as we know, repetitiveness leads many people to believe him, which is its own problem.
It's not that we're believing Trump. We don't care. There's a big difference between believing Trump. It's like, that list I showed you. This list, let me just bring it up again in case some people, missed it. I want you to know this. Where is that list here? Okay, let me just bring it up again. The most important issues to voters in 2024. And you can clearly see, those of you guys who weren't here earlier, these are the top things that voters voted on not too long ago, November 5th. The economy, democracy, terrorism, Supreme Court, immigration, education, healthcare, and way down here, the bottom is what Democrats cared about most. Nobody cared about climate change, nobody cared about trans rights, and nobody cared about race relations. Right there. So if nobody cares about this stuff, which is obvious because this is Gallup, one of the preeminent pollsters in the world. If the bottom tier, 3 out of the 5 bottom things were race, climate, and trans stuff. If those were the 3 of the least issues people care about, why are you guys spending your entire time talking about stuff people don't care about? That's I guess the message I want to impart upon you is that I believe Trump is orchestrating this perfectly. They can't even focus on anything else. And to me, that means he's winning. That means we're winning. You guys go over here and play in your little puddle. Do what you need to do. The big boys and the adults here are going to work on the stuff that America really cares about. This isn't by accident. When you look at the things up top, you can tell that's what Trump is focused on. Look the other way. The economy, democracy, terrorism, immigration, education. If those are the top, if those are the things at the very top, and our president is focusing on that, and the left is focusing on the bottom, that's winning. That tells you they cannot win. That's one of the tenets I've been trying to tell you. It's going to be some time before these people can win a national election without cheating. Because their focus isn't on winning. That's as if, again, a football analogy. That's as if I went to practice and I came to practice and the coach spent 2 hours on punting. Are we going to look at the offense and the defense? Because, that's what we should be focused on. No, we're just going to spend every single day focusing on punting. We're going to spend 2.5 hours on punting every single day. Really? That's what these guys are doing.
A diverse workforce, all that means is that you're drawing from the strength of all Americans to work in the government, to work in the public service. I don't know what's wrong with that.
And in business, for example, there are plenty of data points to show that businesses with more diversity are more successful. Kendra?
I don't know where these people pull this crap out their butt. There's plenty of studies out there that said people who are doing more diverse stuff are more successful. Where?
That's exactly it. The lack of compassion, the lack of empathy with him. He had a real opportunity to go out there and to talk about these families who have lost loved ones. And the ability to not have any sort of compassion
to not even say that he was going to go and meet with the families who have lost their loved ones, it is sort of incomprehensible that this is where we are and this is our president. And is it incomprehensible, though?
Did he say that? Did he say that he wasn't going to be meeting with the loved ones? I'm pretty sure, and I could probably bring it up right now. I still have it from yesterday. He said quite the opposite. You see, one of your reporters, I don't know if it was CNN or whatever, I think it was CNN, are you going to go visit the site of the crash? His exact words, what do you think, I'm going to go swimming? I'm going to go meet with the people. I don't need to go swimming. I'm the president. The plane, it's in the water. Yeah, it's in the water. No, or should I go talk to the people? So she just lied again. When I say she, it's another network, another reporter, all up in her feels, and lying. He had an opportunity. Opportunity to what? To make you feel better? He's got to go meet with the families.
I mean, didn't we know going into this that this was what this was going to be like if President Trump was back in the White House?
Yes, but also this happened, across the river from where he lives currently in the White House, and it's just it is unbelievable that you can be so tone deaf and not realize, okay, the first thing I should say is something about these lost souls.
I think that I've been.
All right, so now I'm going to close this. We got 2 minutes of this crap. But in these last 2 minutes, if you stuck with me this long and you haven't thrown up, this is going to confirm to you without a single shred of doubt that the Democrats cannot win a national election for any time soon. I put this together so you guys can feel real comfortable knowing you're fighting against a team that just doesn't have the players. They don't have the ideology. They've lost touch with America, and nobody is telling them otherwise. In fact, their so-called leaders are focusing on the losing stuff. They're not even able to extricate themselves and go, you know what? We got our butt kicked in November. And because we got our butt kicked in November, maybe we should start looking at something else. Maybe we should focus on the economy. Maybe we should focus on immigration. Maybe we come up with a better way to, deport people, since that's what America wants. No, we can't. We're just completely against that. Maybe we find a better way to treat California so it doesn't burn up. Nope. We got to do climate control. All right. So what are you going to change to make yourself more appealing, guys? I'm gonna talk to you right now because you know this. When you became 15 or 16 and it was time to venture out and meet women, you brushed your teeth, you took showers, you wear deodorant, and you combed your hair, or you got your hair. They don't do that anymore. But, you did things to try and make yourself more appealing. You lost weight. You started working out. Shined up your car. Whatever it was, what can I do to make myself more appealing? Gals, you did it too. You primped the hair. You wore the nice tight dress. You did things to make yourself more appealing. You didn't just go out there and say, I just had an onion. My breath stank. I ain't take a shower in a couple, 4 or 5 days. I kind of got a ripe odor to me. Let me see, which one of these women here want to dance with me up in the club. That's what the Democrats are doing. They haven't showered since November 5th. They haven't brushed their teeth. And they expect people to, welcome them with open arms. And I'm proving it to you in 2 minutes. Listen to this.
And somewhat effective. We also were able to get monumental legislation into the FAA Reauthorization Act that really flew under the radar, thank God. But
thank God we were able to get something we really wanted, and it was such a divine intervention that we had to push it in under the radar where the Republicans weren't paying any attention. She just said that. She said, thank God we pushed it in under the radar If it was so good, why'd you have to push it in under the radar? You should be screaming it from the mountaintops. This is the best thing ever. But you had to hide it. See, a Freudian slip, she just came out with it. Thank God we had to push it under the radar.
This was funding to make sure that hopefully we can increase the number of African Americans and Hispanics that are entering aviation, which can be very expensive, but can obviously be very lucrative. And so we set up a situation where basically there will be full rides for those attending land grant HBCUs as well as HSIs to go into aviation. In this crazy anti-DEI environment, we were able to get that done because we were working with everybody that mattered. So I do want people to know that we are working. This is just one of those aberrations.
Racism has not gone.
Apparition. We give you the free money so that you can get the big money job because you're black or Hispanic. Nowhere in her speech did she say, we're preparing you to be the best of the best. We want you to be one of the best people in aviation. My grandson, he's playing sports. And when I went up to Raleigh and I met with Ashley, and we said, we need to get him into a training program. We didn't say we need to get him into a training program because, I don't know, he's got nice hair. No, we said we want him to get better so he can be so good that a college will look at him and he could be one of the best tight ends he can possibly be. Train, get better so you can, not so you can slide him in under the radar. But with this last minute and 15 seconds, you are going to hear, without a doubt, why this is a dead party. And you can share this part if you want to clip it, I'll clip it. Exactly why these people will never win another national election for quite some time. As you're watching this, remember this is January 31st. We're a full almost 3 months away from the election. But when you watch this, it's going to make you think it's November 4th.
Way since 20 people of African descent came upon these shores at Jamestown, Virginia in 1619, and it's going to require us to think and behave in a new way. It is systemic, it is structural. When it comes to addressing diversity, equity, inclusion, access, and belonging, that is for all people of the United States, that must come across the voting line as well. This is everyone's America. Our story has a new form of glory that must come to our shores as well.
In this round, so
our story must have some new glory. What in the hell did you just say? You said it was a new message. It's the same old tired shit you've been saying for a long time. There's nothing new. It's race grievancing. It is absolute BS. Why do I, and I don't mean this, no, I do mean it this way. Why the hell do I care what happened in 1619? I am not living in 1619. I am living in 2025. I have a wife. I have a business. I have a life. I have daughter. I got grandkids. I don't care what happened in 1619. I'm not living there. I never, ever in my life bailed anything to do, with cotton. Nobody ever whipped me. I never had a bone in my nose. None of that has anything to do with the man I am today. I want to make sure that, I don't know, what's coming up? February, Valentine's Day, that I keep this woman happy. That's my focus. I want to make sure that Ashley and the kids have everything they need moving forward. I can't even imagine sitting back in your house going, racism. Racism. What? Your focus on racism is what's keeping you from ascending. I don't think about that. Is racism real? Of course it is. 100%. There are people out there who are racist. Do I care about them? No, I don't care. You do not affect me. So why would I even give you this much time? And that's all these people do. And now these next two clips are going to put a big circle with a Sharpie as to why Barry says these people will never win again for any time soon.
I'm going to have a show of hands. How many of you believe that racism and misogyny played a role in Vice President Harris's defeat? Okay.
All of them. Every single person on stage and every single person in the audience said that racism and misogyny is why Kamala Harris lost. I want you to just let that sink in. That's why we lost. Had nothing to do with our policies, had nothing to do with the Marxism, had nothing to do with the high taxations, had nothing to do with the newcomers. None of that mattered. Had nothing to do with grocery prices, had nothing to do with gas prices, had nothing to do with interest rates and rent. It's because it was racism and misogyny. This was from yesterday. On January 30th, these people got together in a panel with MSNBC, and their main focus at this point is we only lost because of racism and misogyny. That's it. Everything else we would have won. You see how detached they are now? Do you understand they can't win because they can't get their eyes off of that? Every single person, including the white people on stage, raised their hand and said, we only lost because of racism and misogyny.
Wow. So, that's good. You all passed. We are going to fight it. Legislatively, we are going to fight it in the courts, and we're going to fight it in the streets.
This is where the point in like a legal battle where I would say, and Your Honor, I rest my case. That's where I would just sit back and go, you tell me, you let me know how these people have any shot moving forward. I'm gonna ask you, you tell me how they could win. Because I don't see how these people could win. I don't know how they're going to even move forward with some of the stuff that they're talking about. It makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. All right, let me read a quick message here. All right. President Trump said he wants to teach our kids to love our country. And now that he's been inaugurated and on the job, it's the perfect time to teach kids everything they need to know about their new president and his mission to make America great again. That's why Mike Huckabee's team put together the Kids Guide to President Trump, and to celebrate President Trump's return to the White House, they're giving it away for free. This book is great because it features fun illustrations and content teaching kids all about President Trump's accomplishments and his goals for his second term. Mike Huckabee wants to send your family this free guide so you can teach your kids the truth about President Trump. And when you order, you'll receive a free commemorative President Trump pin. But you must hurry because supplies are limited. Claim your free Kids Guide to President Trump for your kids right now. See offer details and offer your free guide at kidstrumpguide.com. That's kidstrumpguide.com, or feel free to click on the QR code on the screen right now. And I'll be right back. As you know, President Trump has assembled the Avengers to make America great again. And of course, we're all excited and ready to see them get to work. But with everything we're seeing right now, don't take your eye off the ball. Things could get much worse before they get better. With the possibility of World War III still looming, and with the Democrats doing everything they can to impede Trump, you still need to keep your guard up and your money protected. Oh, and our national debt is still massively increasing. Don't get me wrong, I have high hopes for Trump's America, but I also have a family to look out for. You see, Trump and the Avengers have quite the uphill battle ahead. That's why I'm making sure I'm protected, and I'm recommending that you do the same. One way to be protected is by diversifying your portfolio. That's why on this channel I've been happy to partner with Lear Capital. As you know, I've been involved in real estate for quite some time, and although I dabbled in gold and silver, Kevin and his staff at Lear have helped to educate me even further, especially in regards to silver. Give Lear a call today and they'll show you how easy it is to move some of your savings or your retirement account into gold and silver. Gold and silver have been proven to hold value and protect wealth for the long term. Call Lear today at 800-601-5430 or go to learberry.com to get your free gold and silver wealth protection guides. There's no obligation, just free information. Many of you have seen my interviews with Lear founder Kevin Demerit, and I can tell you this company is solid and likes to educate their customers. Just so you know, Lear has over 27 years of experience, thousands of 5-star reviews, and over $3 billion in trusted transactions, and is the only company with a 24-hour risk-free purchase. You don't pay unless you're 100% satisfied. So call 800-601-5430 or go to learberry.com. And when you call, don't forget to ask how you can get up to $15,000 in bonus gold or silver with a qualifying purchase. So if you'd like to take advantage of this opportunity, please call my friends at Lear Capital at 800-601-5430 and tell them Barry sent you. All right. Let's continue with some news here. I noticed there was it went by so fast, but there was a couple comments was, hey, did Hakeem Jeffries just call for violence? Yeah, he did. The House leader for the Democrats, you just saw, went into, on camera, in front of a microphone and said, we're going to take this to the streets. All right, number one, good luck with that. Just keep it in your crazy neighborhoods. But somebody else noticed that too. And that someone else is, where can I find this real quick? That someone else would be Donald Trump. Update. The White House has just called on Hakeem Jeffries to apologize for his threat of violence this morning. Immediate release. The White House Minority Leader Jeffries will he apologize to the American people. At a press conference this morning in Brooklyn, House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries made a sick call for violence and incited his followers to fight President Trump's agenda in the streets. Will Minority Leader Jeffries apologize for this disgusting threat, or will he double down on the same calls for violence that have plagued the country for years? He's calling it out as it happens. This rapid response team that he put together is probably the best thing I've seen on social media in quite some time. It is simply amazing. He's got a crack group of people who are scouring everything. I remember I used to do that for a certain pizza guy. And every time something comes up, you can just grab the content, pull it in, boom, and respond to it in real time and say, this is BS. You're going to let him get away with it? And so all the Democrats out there who are always worried about violence, what do y'all got to say about that? Again, he's flooding the zone. So many things are happening that they can't possibly keep up with. It's 2:25. He's got his bags packed. He's ready to head down here to Mar-a-Lago, hang out down here at the Southern White House. They're still talking about DEI. They're still crapping themselves on television. And this man just keeps going and keeps going and keeps going. Point of reference. Breaking. There's so much stuff. It's funny. If you just do a search for the term breaking or new, you're going to get so much content. I mean, I offered to do a X tutorial. Because sometimes people are like, where are you finding this stuff? How are you finding it so quickly? This just dropped while we were talking. It's dropped at 1:07 p.m. since I've been here, all right? I can show you how you can look it up. But anyway, breaking. John Brennan has been banned from entering any federal building. This was ordered by President Trump. You can't even go into a federal building. And Ian Yeager said this also includes 50 other intelligence officials. He's got the left so discombobulated. Y'all can go ahead and focus on DEI and then say stupid stuff like we're going to take things to the street and fight. And now you got to deal with that because now you better respond because now you've been called out on your violence. And oh, by the way, I now control the FBI and the DOJ, so we're going to put your butt in jail if you do some stupid stuff. You go ahead and try me. You go ahead. Remember the fedora and the FAFO sign. This is new sheriffs in town. Once y'all start this stuff in the streets, you're not going to like what happens thereafter. You didn't think about that, did you? Oh, we're going to go take to the streets. We're going to break up stuff. And you don't think that the National Guard will be in there like that? You don't think he'll call it a national security emergency and deploy? Party's over, girls. Party's over. Don't get stupid now. Don't give him a reason. I mean, I just remember growing up. Don't give me a reason. I'll give you something to cry for. You're crying right now. I'll give you something to cry for. Don't make me do it. He's telling you, don't make me do it. He's showing these people. I mean, when you see these kind of numbers, I can't wait to talk to Mark Mitchell again next week. Trump approval is at 52% today, up 2 points from yesterday. And I love, he put it out there. People love it. You know, Robin always tells me, even though I love that little Lily Maltese, she's so pretty and Midas, you got to let them know who's boss. You know, she gets a little antsy and she shows her, and she tries me sometimes, even her little 6 pounds. Let her know who's boss. Can't imagine if it was a big dog. I can't. She's so cute. I can't do nothing. But you got to show him who's boss. And this, I'm going to show you who's boss. And people like that. Guys like it. Women like it. We like authority. We grew up in authority. Some of us had too much authority. Our parents were, some people had heavy-handed parents. But authority and discipline is what grew us to the people we are. Democrats, I'd be concerned, really concerned for you. Now you got CEOs starting to realize, hey, we need to change some things. Chevron ditches the Gulf of Mexico after Trump rebrands it and is now calling it the Gulf of America. Chevron is fully on board with Trump's first week rebranding spree, swapping Gulf of Mexico for Gulf of America in its earning reports. Chevron CEO Mike Wirth says if the White House is using it, then Chevron is using it. Thank you. That's what I've been telling these people here. If the White House is saying it, and if the White House has decreed that this is the term we use for newcomers, and this is the term we use for transformers, then by God, we should be using it. You should not be censoring anybody if the law and the edicts and the executive orders are such that this is how it's supposed to be. I don't know what you got to do with your staff. I don't know if you tell your staff for like a month, hey, listen, just don't censor anything until we get a handle on this. Because you're doing a lot of wrong things. I'm calling you out right now. Y'all can get mad. That's why I have to run other commercials. Because I'm telling you, you up there need to change. Corporate America now realizes it's going to be a long 4 years if we don't get our act together. If the White House is using it, then Chevron is using it. Period. The Gulf remains a key U.S. oil hub, but not everyone's playing along. ExxonMobil conveniently left it out of their release. So, you know what's coming to Exxon. Same thing that's happening with Venezuela right now. Venezuela is meeting with Rick Grinnell. So, I find this to be funny. Where was that? Oh, I already deleted it. The image with... with Luca Brasi looking with his head. Trump is dispersing his people. Marco Rubio, head down to Panama. You need to talk to these people. Tom Homan, go meet with the people in Canada. Rick Grinnell, you go meet with the people in Venezuela. Let them know they have a limited amount of time to get their act together. And I'm sure, I would bet money it comes to the people here. You got a little bit of time. Mark Zuckerberg found out, hey, yeah, okay, I'm going to try. It's going to take me a while. I got 100,000 employees. I don't even know who's working in what department anymore. But we'll get there. We'll work on it. We'll work on it a little bit faster. And this one, Just In. Like I'm telling you, if you search Just In and breaking and stuff like that, you're going to see so much content. Just In. Senior FBI officials have been ordered to retire, resign, or Monday, you're going to get fired. What? Resign, retire and take your benefits, or get thrown out the window on Monday. Those are your choices. Make the right one. FAFO. When you're poised with those three options, hey, listen, understand, here's what's going to happen. Imagine your boss coming to you today and saying, Barry, yes, what's going on? Well, we're making some changes. Okay. Here are your options. You could, resign and just leave, and we'll give you a little severance. Okay, what's number 2? Number 2 is you could retire, and we'll let you keep your benefits. Okay. And number 3, Monday at noon, we throw you out the window, i.e., you're fired, and you get nothing. Oh, you mean I have 2 options then? Because that's what you're telling me. I can either resign and get a severance or retire and keep my benefits. Well, I haven't qualified for retirement yet. Okay, then you got 1 option. Yeah, we're going to give you a severance. It makes a pretty easy decision, doesn't it? I can't retire. I'm 38. Okay, well, you can't do that. So what are you going to do? So I'm pointing this stuff out to you because you guys have got to be seeing this stuff now. By Monday, yes, Daddy Trump is not playing around. I like the metaphor. That's from the movie I'm Gonna Get You, Sucker. You're going to get the stairs or the window. Because either way you're leaving, I just don't know which one you're going to take. You can decide. I'll let you decide whether I'm tossing you out the window or I'm tossing you down the stairs, but you're getting out of here. And he's doing it. Weekend retirement parties, yeah? Wow, Barry, how harsh. He's put the hat on. He's put the FAFO sign up. It's basically neon at this point. Hey, guys, F around, F out, FO. We're waiting at 3 o'clock. He's going to be. I can't even imagine what's coming up. So we're gonna keep going with some news until he comes back out. He's coming out at 3 o'clock to sign some executive orders. So I don't know what they are. But it's going to make their heads spin once again. All right. So let's continue with some more news that's going on here. Yeah. Okay. Did that. We covered that one. Oh, this one. In addition to Brennan, as I just told you, Trump banned 51 intel agents who lied about Biden's laptop from entering all federal buildings. Now imagine you're in this list of people who signed, that letter, that lying letter. What he just essentially said is you're treasonous. You are banned from stepping on any federal property, or going into any federal building. I don't know who all these people are, but these are the 51 who signed. Obviously, there's Brennan, his picture right there in the middle. I don't know these. Let me see who Michael Hayden. I know him. Let's see who else signed this thing. Oh, James Clapper. We know him. But all these people here are now kicked out. Go away. Don't ever show your face. Oh, Leon Panetta. Oh, that's got to hurt. Any other names we know on here that you guys may know? You guys can see the names. I'm looking to see if there's any more here. What's a shame is this woman's young. She can never go in another federal building. And like what the comment is fabulous. We are done messing around. The winning hasn't slowed down. That's what I've been telling you.
We're going to win so much, you may even get tired of winning. And you'll say, please, please, it's too much winning. We can't take it anymore. Mr. President, it's too much. And I'll say, no, it isn't. We have to keep winning. We have to win more. We're going to win more.
And the winning part of all this is that it's not stopping. And I keep going back to my sports life. And I'm thinking, we scored again? How bad do these guys suck? What's the score? We scored again? I mean, at some point you start feeling sorry for the other team going, oh man, can we put in the third team? Nah, keep it going. You should have known, Democrats. Let me just whisper in case there's any Dem trolls in here. You should have known when you tried to take this man's life, all bets were off. All bets were off. And what we're seeing is, you can call it revenge, you can call it retribution, you call it whatever you want, but you're seeing what happens after you go for the king. And I'm not putting him into any regal status, but it's a long said metaphor. If you go for the king, you better take him out. Because then the king's going to come and he's going to go full on Kaiser Sose all over you, everything you know. He's going to burn down your house. He's going to kill your pet. You've seen that movie, Usual Suspects, and that line in there. Kaiser Sose just takes out everybody. You took a shot at the man. And I'm sitting back here going, what would you do? You personally, you can answer that. If somebody took a shot at you, if somebody took a shot at your father, if somebody took a shot at your grandfather, what would you expect him to do when he got back on his feet? Just to go, yeah, it's okay. No way. No way. You'd be doing probably even more. I bet you Melania's sitting back going, step it down. Back off. And Barron's like, get him, Dad, get him. Because you know there's some sort of dichotomy in that house where Barron's sitting there hitting on a podcast and doing different things, and Melania's like, chill. But then again, we saw her in her outfit, and she looked like she was a mob boss walking in there. So I don't know, but they're letting people know we're not taking it anymore. And you see his demeanor in the press conference, and he called out Pete Buttigieg, this BS, and now you're seeing what's going on in his persona. He's feeling it now. Or as Deion Sanders said, I'm getting comfortable with this. I wasn't comfortable 4 years ago. Now I'm getting comfortable with this, and I'm going to have to walk out here and sign some more executive orders for you to deal with. Deal with it. And all you can do is cry, DEI, oh my God, DEI. Trump said an eye for eye many times during the campaign. I wonder how much they get paid to sign the list. I bet they wish they didn't. Oh, I'm coming back really hard. Yep, yeah. I almost dragged the dishes when the MSM was saying Trump won't visit families from the air disaster. They were stuck thinking they still have a Democrat. Yeah, what do you want him to do? Go visit him and look at his watch while he's waiting for his oatmeal to get warmed up on the plane? Y'all forget that? You forget that Joe Biden never even called Laken Riley or any of those women who lost their daughters? And how obtuse are these people? Think about that. We watched rally after rally. Rally after rally. Where Trump would bring somebody up on stage who lost a loved one and had to find out how they lost those loved ones. That they lost those loved ones because of something heinous happening to that loved one. Hey, so did Biden call you? Nope, not a word. Laken Riley's parents, mother? Nope. And you guys never said anything about that. And Trump's, even when he was campaigning, was showing up at funerals. I remember when they kicked Kathy Hochul away from the cop that got killed up in Long Island, in New York, or wherever it was. And Trump went there. And they told her, go away. We don't want you here. Trump was the one who kept showing up, not Biden. So now it's too late for you. I mean, and Trump said at the presser yesterday, I'll go see them. That's where they don't want to go meet, sit in a boat on a lake. I'm going to go sit in their house. We're going to talk. I may bring him to the White House. And these people on CNN, like, well, he didn't go, he won't go sit in the water. Yeah, this is coming too. Afghanistan, I want my stuff back. Yep, he told them that. Long lost memory. They don't have any memory. Yep, I remember that. You're remembering it. Yeah. Don't let these things go. Don't let them show you or tell you what he didn't do. Because you can go through loved one after loved one and say, yeah, he showed up. I remember when the Secret Service, I don't even know if he had Secret Service then. I don't know. I remember, you guys remember, that wasn't a rally, he did a speech. He flew all the way to the border. And the people protecting him, whether it was Secret Service or not, and they're like, you can't just walk out here. Remember, the border wall was here, and it was just dirt, and he walked up and talked to like 4 families. You guys remember that? And they're like trying to shield him as he's walking because it could have been someone up in the hills. He just walked out there. And then one of the people from OAN or something he was talking to, and it was really interesting. Like, I can't talk to you right now. This isn't a secure location, because she tried to, talk to him before he got in his car. You guys remember that? Yeah. He also paid for funerals. Absolutely. Absolutely. If they wanted Biden to show, they needed to show chocolate ice cream. Barry, I find that to be very disturbing. Which part? Which part did you find disturbing? Hang on, Barry. My popcorn ran out. I got to get more. That's funny. I'm checking here. Let me just check to see when he comes out. I don't want to miss it. Okay. Let me just pull this in. Because you know how he shows up. He just walks out. Wait 1 second. Just want to start this. All right, so I got that started. All right. Let's continue with things I need to show you. In addition to the other people he's given their pink slips or whatever color slip you want to call it, now we also have the environmentalists. Breaking, like I keep telling you, just keep using that word, breaking, over 1,100 EPA employees have been made aware they are on probationary status and could be fired immediately. Huh? Yeah, you're now on double secret probation. And at any moment, we can lop off your head. You'd be done. Okay? Just to let you know. Good luck. We'll get back to you. But, we're just following whatever guidelines. We have to let you know. And one of the statuses must mean I need to put you in probationary status before I tell you you got to hit the bricks. 1,100 of them. Imagine, it's Friday afternoon. This came out at 1 o'clock. It's Friday afternoon. You're thinking, I'm a federal employee. I don't know where, if I even come to the office, wherever I am in the country, I'm kicking back. It's Friday afternoon. I'm getting ready to hit happy hour, and I get an email. It says, you're on borrowed time, brother. Out of nowhere, it just drops into your email. You're probably at the bar, getting some nachos, bringing over your Jose Cuervo. Hey, I got an email from work. Oh no, he's coming for me too. Oh yeah, you're all getting it. You're all getting the letters. Exactly. One by flipping one. Good for you. This is what I was telling you about earlier with Miss DEI herself. Breaking. Democratic Representative Jasmine Crockett gets fact-checked by Community Notes for lying about President Trump freezing the hiring of air traffic controllers. This is one of the reasons why they hate Elon so much. I mean, okay, it got blocked because it's too big. You probably can't see it. But anyway, they're getting destroyed. Their lies are being called out, and they're getting community noted. And so somebody goes, community notes for the win again. You got to absolutely love community notes. Because those of you who don't know what community notes are, let me talk to you about that. Community notes is you say something that's not true. And in order to make people know that you're lying, the community notes section, which is basically compiled of people like, you, me, and everybody else, they can then quote it and say, it's a lie. And it stays on your post. So the fact that it's like a red letter, oh, you lied, and we're going to let everybody know that you lied. So, bye-bye. Let's see what else we got here. Another one. Breaking. This was 2:38, 10 minutes ago. The Department of Agriculture has been directed to remove all content related to climate change propaganda from its public website by the end of the day. It's not possible, and I think now that you guys understand what I've been saying, it's not possible for them to keep up. Their heads are exploding, and they never expected that he would do all of this. Now he's hitting the Department of Agriculture. Yeah, take all that stuff down. All that climate change BS, just make it go away. So at this point, we're bound to begin seeing federal employees doing their own self-deportation. I can't take this. We're done. I don't know what to do. You see how fast this is moving? Literally, while I'm talking to you, these aren't things I had in the show. I just know if I click in here, or if I click there, I'm going to see something new. Like this. Breaking. Texas Governor Greg Abbott bans Chinese government-based social media apps from all state-issued devices. I gotta play it.
We're going to win so much, you may even get tired of winning. And you'll say, please, please, it's too much winning. We can't take it anymore. Mr. President, it's too much. And I'll say, no, it isn't. We have to keep winning. We have to win more. We're going to win more.
I think you're seeing it. And I said it last night. I said, I could literally turn on the camera, do a live broadcast with nothing prepared, and sit and go, okay, let me just check my different list and see who's posting what, and then bring it to you, because it's happening that fast. Like, for instance, just now, President Trump is pushing for Congress to eliminate taxes on tips, Social Security, and overtime. Time for Congress to set up. So he's gone to Mike Johnson and saying, get it done. We're in a different political era right now. This is something that no one has ever seen in their lives politically. There is no one who's ever had a man who's come in with a sledgehammer the way he has come in and has commanded people, get this done. No excuses. I don't care. And then yesterday there was something George from Behezi posted, and George said he's planning on going scorched earth. Absolutely scorched earth on anybody who doesn't vote for his cabinet picks. Crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Winning feels good, and it just keeps happening. I'm literally waiting for waiting for him to step up at the platform. And as I'm looking at the platform, I'm clicking buttons and going, okay, well, let me refresh. What else has he done? Who else is being told to do something? And it just keeps happening. And it's hitting them at their core. See, that's one of the big things. It's hitting them so hard at their core. He's hitting them on DEI. He's hitting them on climate. It just keeps happening. And because there's so much, we just heard Caroline Leavitt talk. He's going to come back at 9 minutes and sign executive orders, which are going to be the new news for the day, because that would mean the old news is gone. Let me see if there's anything else popping up here that I should cover. Okay, so I think right now I am caught up on most of this stuff because it's absolutely mind-boggling to be a reporter. Let me see if Monica has posted anything lately because she's right there in the White House, and I got a thing here for her. Oh, she's got a picture of herself sitting right next to that guy. She's standing next to the guy for Gays for Trump. It's too funny. And she just posted this. Let me move this comment. It's amazing. She's so good. She goes, she goes, I love how Monica nods her head when Caroline Levitt asked a good question. She got some TV time. So let me go ahead and, as we're waiting for Trump, let me go ahead and put the screen up so I know when he stands up. And let's talk. What did I just do? All right. Heck yeah, minimum D. Lynch. Winning is awesome. All we do is win, 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 no matter what. So far, so good. Even with the court battles, you just shrug it off, and get to the next one. The boss is back, and I'm loving every minute of it. Thank you, God. Yes, indeed. DEI exists because we let it happen. True. All of that happened because we let it happen. We allowed them to change our language. Think of all the words that they decided we could no longer use. You can't put the two words to describe the newcomers together anymore. They took it away from us. And then they had people tell us, you're not allowed to say that anymore. And then the sheer amount of week of, month of, day of. Do you know there's something like 200 calendar days right now that celebrate, how can I say this, the alternative lifestyle? 200 days of recognition. That's insane. They have the entire month of June, you have to look away. And then next month, next month is February, Black History Month. And they're going to put the megaphone on you for that. For 30 days. How about America Month? How about America 6 months? How about every single day we talk about the good things that America has done? And we could probably go 365 on that. We could just decide, if you want Black History Month, talk about, who's the guy who invented peanut butter? Forget, George Washington Culver, I think is his name. But just talk about things that matter to people, not your pronoun. Crazy. Rebecca, thank you very much. Political correctness is about control of speech. It certainly is. Where's Veterans Month? That should be all the time. I was actually talking to Robin about that not too long ago, like a week ago, and what I said to her was, they should, when you get off the plane or out the hospital at the VA, whatever, you get out, they should give you a card. And that card should just give you the ability to go wherever you want and buy whatever you want up to a certain level without having to go from your home to a VA 30 miles away. Hey, I don't feel good. I need to go to the doctor. I'm going to go to the emergency room. I got my veterans card. Boom, there's your insurance. Why don't we take care of our veterans? Why don't they have carte blanche? I don't know. That's something I see coming. We saw it coming and did nothing until it was too late. Talking about how they co-opted language and everything else, and that you had to say it a certain way because they were offended. I do have empathy. I won't go as far as saying I feel sorry. I do feel empathy for the legion of kids and people who were sold a bill of goods about this transformer stuff. Because now, as we see, there are many of them having issues. Bad issues. Wait a minute, you're just out of office and it's all over? Yeah, it's over. So we don't even have the ability. Nope, it's over. You did what you did. You listened to Dylan Mulvaney and some other people, and you lopped off certain parts of your body, and now nobody cares. It was all political theater. They pretended as though you meant something to them. Do you really think right now that Kamala Harris, well, maybe Barack Obama, or Joe Biden or Jill Biden give a crap about you? Because they're the ones who were promoting it, remember? And now they're out of office, and there's nothing they can do for you. Nothing. George Washington Carver, okay, invented the cotton gin. Okay, gotcha. It was just a fad that is irreversible. It's not. Yeah, that is irreversible. Correct. You went and lopped off your different body parts. They're not coming back. And yep, this. You can't even say that here. You can't even talk about that because they wig out up there. They don't like you talking about those things. Yes, George Washington Carver, black inventor of peanut butter. Let's see what Trump is live now. Not on anything I see. He's not on. He will be, but not yet. It's over for the woke left. In fact, we can probably stop calling them woke at this point and just call it the left because all their ideologies. I'm looking at, I got Fox on, 257, 257, 257. Everything is queued. And he is not on yet, unless it's on the whitehouse.gov. Let me see. I mean, maybe these people haven't cut to him yet. But no, none of the monitors that I'm checking has it. Hold on. And I'm sure they would have it if he was on there. No, I'm seeing Caroline from earlier. I do not see him live as of right now. So we're waiting, and we're sure he's going to be coming. Okay, I'm looking. And nope, not as of yet. All right, so I've got 3 monitors open. The White House has gone live, meaning they put up their billboard and saying coming soon, which is what you do when you're about to come on. And so I've got that. So we're all set, waiting for him to come out. And I'm sure... All right, yeah, I'm set, waiting for him to come out. As you can see, this is all you see right now. Please check back later. Oh, let me remove the comment so you can see on the bottom. Where is that? See where it says live down there? So it's coming, but it hasn't started. Nothing has happened yet. So I got it on 3 different screens, 3 different monitors, watching it. Nope, he has not come out. I wonder why you guys say that sometimes. Oh, Trump is on. No, he's not on. The cotton gin was invented by Eli Whitney, correct? Let's see here. Can't wait to see what Trump is signing next. Yeah, I can't imagine what these next orders are going to be, but we're ready for it. Trump has destroyed decades of Democrat planning. And just imagine if the nuts, the rhinos, would be... You want to talk about just being excited? If the rhinos would just do what they're supposed to do, this would be just a epic time in America. Not yet. We're waiting. Just check. Just think about that. All would have to happen is for these other people to not be morons. Lisa Murkowski, Susan Collins, Mitch McConnell. If you people just got your act together, imagine how much we could do. What life would be like for everybody. Not just, but no, you want to do things on your own. Yes, I did get your message about the George Washington Carver. Yes, I did. Rhinos are sold out, which is good, and that's why Trump is basically putting out their ability to get money. If it happens in public, what happened? Nothing yet. If it happens in public, you can bet it was planned that way. FDR, exactly. Hi, Barry. I watch you from the great state of Wyoming. Thank you for watching. I find it funny that when it comes to DEI, Hollywood doesn't pay black people their fair wages, but they tell other people how bad they are. Oh, if you're trying to look for sanity in all this DEI, it doesn't exist. Does not exist. That's part of the reason why the problem I have and had with the Democrat Party and growing up, with around a bunch of Democrats in Connecticut, is because it was all about what you should be doing, but we're not going to do it. And the very first thing you can always point to is ask any rich Democrat person. You can walk up to any single one of them and say, wow, it's a lot of money. How much are you paying for taxes? And are you using any tax shelters? Which I knew, even growing up, I knew you invested in real estate and you deducted this and you deducted that because, just as I was taught many, many, many moons ago, avoiding taxes is not illegal. Evading taxes is illegal. So you are encouraged to avoid as much taxation as possible. The problem with it is that they think you're stupid and that it's the rich people, they're the ones not paying their fair share, when every single, like Trump said one point, I don't know if you guys remember, when I think it was the debate with Hillary Clinton, and he came out and said it. I know you're not doing it because I was doing and have been doing what you're doing. I've been involved with you. I used to give you money. I know exactly how the game is played because I play it. And what did he say after that, which freaked people out? It doesn't make me criminal, it makes me smart. I'm using the rules that are in place. I'm using the laws that are in place. So you can go to any liberal, anywhere that's got a little bit of cash, and say, why aren't you giving more? There is no limitation, none whatsoever, for you to, I can't give this much more to the IRS. Sure, you can give as much to the IRS you want. So who you kidding? Yeah, they did a lot of damage to a lot of people. They sure did. While we're waiting, do you know what what'd you say? Did you know that we're born without kneecaps? You mean without a patella, or you're not counting that? It's so funny. Update on Bondi. I understand, and this is what tomorrow and Sunday are going to be. So, tomorrow and Sunday, I'm going to be catching up on where we are with all of the people and their voting. I understand Pam Bondi should be voted on probably Monday or Tuesday is when she should be voted on. And then after her would probably be, should be RFK Jr., maybe Cash maybe like Wednesday or so, not really sure. Waiting to see if he, nothing yet, nothing. We're waiting to see when he walks out. I want to make sure I'm not missing anything. Nope, everything is playing. Nope, he's not walking out yet. All right, so we're good. Knees are just cartilage when you're born. Yeah, okay. Michael and Al Sharpton is there. Who said it yesterday? Oh, I was in my interview with Jeremy Carl, and he was talking about how Al Sharpton he was made famous because of the biggest racial hoax ever with the Tawana Broadley stuff. Who are they voting on Monday? I don't think it'll be Cash. I think at this point Pam Bondi would come before everybody else. It would make sense that she would be before everybody else. She's been waiting the longest, so that's what I would think. Could be wrong. They could put something else in there, but I'm looking on Twitter as we talk, and people are absolutely freaking out about Trump banning all these people from the White House. It's glorious. Glorious, I tell you, that all these people now are persona non grata. Don't ever come here ever again. Yeah, it's great. It's absolutely great. And it's not going to stop. I mean, when he walks out here in the next couple minutes, we're going to see some more stuff happen. And man, there's no way that they can stop what's coming, which is, we all say, because they don't know what's coming. It's very hard to game plan Trump because the government is such a large entity. Anything could happen. We know that anything can happen. There's so many different agencies, and none of us knew 48 hours ago that he was going to drop the hammer on Mexico and Canada. And so what I'm looking for, and what you guys can be paying attention to as well, is what happens in the next tomorrow. Tomorrow it drops on. He gave them time. He told, hey, it's coming. I'm going to put a tariff. I'm going to hit you. I'm going to hit you. Okay, let me see what you do. How are you going to react? And then I sent Tom Homan up. You got time. Get your act together. What you really need to be thinking is, why are these countries resisting? It seems like a really simple thing. Hey, listen, all right, we got it. We're going to go ahead and cut the fentanyl supply. Done deal. Works. We're done. But no. I mean, it literally is that simple. Stop the fentanyl, take these people. The globalist agenda at this point is so big, they put so many chips pushed into the middle of the table that at this point, they don't know what to do. It sounds and it looks a lot like they had no plan B. None whatsoever. And because they didn't have any plan B, Trump is dismantling it piece by piece by piece. I'm going to freeze all the money first off, right off the bat. And they're done. I don't know if you guys knew about this. This is something new. Chuck Todd is gone. Chuck Todd is now out at NBC. Wow. They're dropping like flies. I mean, they're literally dropping like flies. Unbelievable. Hitting refresh on everything. And seeing nothing. We got nothing yet. Nope, not yet. All right, so we're waiting. I'm checking all the different monitors, making sure we're not missing anything. Nope, we're not missing anything. Let me just make sure so I can let you guys know when he's out here. I'm just checking another screen. I'm going to have to get a bigger desk. I can see that coming. I can see a bigger desk coming because I'm going to have to stack monitors on top of each other. Bye-bye, Chuck. Let's hear it. All their money and now, you know, they weren't really getting them. They weren't getting $40 million in those things. You know, it was going to somewhere and bouncing off somewhere and coming back in somebody's pocket. Yeah. Where are they going? I don't know. Finally, a press secretary who can answer questions. Refreshing. You're fired, Chuck Todd. Every single one of these people. That's two big names done in the last couple of days. Jim Acosta, Chuck Todd. Chuck Todd's been with NBC for a long time. A really long time. And so now he's done. I don't even know why they keep Joy Reid. I can't even imagine why she's still there. Absolute money laundering scheme. You're absolutely right. You're fired like a rocket. By the way, it's growing really well over at our X group. Let me put up that billboard while we're waiting for people to do what they got to do. Where is it? If you'd like to join our X group, it's free. You go to fanfareshop.org/group, and you can join 13. Actually, I forgot to put up the new banner. It's over 14,000 people right now. 14,000 people in there. In addition, if you'd like to enter to win a hoodie, we're going to resume giving out the hoodies on Monday. Actually, it needs a break because of how many things we got to get shipped. So if you want to go to fanfareshop.org and enter to win. So just to let you know what's going to happen. Hold on. Right now, the form just says your name, email, your age. We're going to have to, because we're getting so many entries at this point, we're going to have to put the size on the form. So you'll be a drop-down window where it's a small, medium, large, extra large, 2X, 3X, whatever. And your address. That way, we don't have to contact you, and Ashley doesn't have to spend a whole bunch of time trying to track people down. That being said, when I pick the winners, she'll already know who's this? Okay. Oh no, you got to hear this.
You got sacked a few times, but you know what? I'm going to block the hell out of the next person that's coming at you. And that's not always the mentality of everyone in my party. Sometimes people look on the sidelines ready to call in the backup. Let's bring in Clay Travis, founder of Outkick, Jano Caldwell, Fox News political analyst and founder of the Caldwell Institute.
And so what that guy just said was a black guy, so they can't say it's racist. A black guy said, who was in the DNC, we should have stuck with Biden. I had to show it to you because I'm like, what did he just say? I look over and there's a banner and it says ex-DNC chairman says we should have stuck with Biden. Here, I'll let you see the bottom of this. This is crazy. Crazy. Exiting DNC chair says we should have stuck with Biden. If you're Kamala today, if you're Kamala and you see that on television, we'd have done better if we just stuck with him. Okay, let me just say it. I'll say it again. You guys are going to get tired of hearing me saying it. They got nothing. It's January 31st. We're heading into February, and they're sitting back having done their post-mortem and saying, yeah, we should have stuck with Biden. Wow, hold on. They're playing it.
Muslim caucus, if we're not going to do a Jewish caucus.
Will you pledge to appoint more than one transgender person to an at-large seat?
Raise your hand if you would commit to what she just asked. Okay.
When your government is doing you wrong, you fight on. Oh, you fight on.
I got to go to you, Gianno, because...
Okay, as I was saying, tell your friends, tell your family, these people are toast. There's nothing they can do. They are so far gone. Number one, they just came out and said we would have done better. We should have just left the crypt keeper be our candidate. When you hear them admit that insane statement from the Democrat Party, the chairman who just quit, when you hear him say we should have just left Biden, you got to start feeling, wow, man, we're about to kick some serious butt. My dog just started howling. Oh my God. I told you, what in the world? Oh God. Oh man, this is too much. This is too funny. They're deranged, and there's no way coming back. That's their biggest problem. They don't even have the roadmap back to sanity. Somebody took the GPS, broke it, threw it out the window, and they're out there wandering around the desert in Las Vegas. They have no idea how to get back to the road. They can't even read sundials. They can't even figure out what direction. For someone to have the complete insanity to say we should have stuck with Biden. I don't even know what to say. I've just been trying to tell you. I've been trying to tell you we got this. I said it yesterday. I spent a long time trying to tell people, and it really is true, and I hope you're starting to see it. They can't beat us. All we can do is fumble and give it to them. That's it. That's the entirety of their campaign now, and what they're looking ahead is can the Republicans screw up, and can we get some of these nuts like McConnell and Murkowski to give us the game? Can they throw the game? That's the only way they win. And so your objective is to make sure that these people don't do that. And you're like, Barry, what do we do? I'm like, just keep pounding them. Keep sending them stuff. Let them know you're not going to let them get away with this. We've got the opponent on the ropes. I've mentioned the term many times, agonal breathing. Agonal breathing is what she was just doing. Well, your government ain't doing. What? It's a comedy of errors at this point. And I would love to be in Washington, not even at the press conference with Caroline Leavitt. I would like to be in Washington, walk through the halls and grab Mitch McConnell and his decrepit ass and say, what the hell are you thinking? You have a lifetime experience opportunity right here. Lisa Murkowski, what the hell are you thinking? We could change the course of history like that. Just that easy. Just nod your head. Take your bag, go live in Alaska, do whatever you need to do. Just say yes. Step aside. We don't even need you to help. We don't even want to bother you with a phone call or an email, okay? Just say yes and go F off. Unbelievable. Yeah, that's desperate. The crepe keeper couldn't bear the load anymore. God's plan for the Democrats has been executed. Everything every one of them thinks right now is just crazy. They got nothing. The turtle is just like Brandon. I doubt he even knows what year it is. Yeah, there's somebody behind the scenes that's pulling his agenda. They're thinking about their own butts at this point. Their own butts and their money at this point. I agree with that. I agree with that. Stupid breed, stupid. Democrats are chasing their tails. And hold on. They just played on the news the Hakeem Jeffries, and he wants people to get out in the street. You're calling for violence because that just tells you they got nothing. Man, how desperate do people have to be to act this way and understand that there's nothing. I told you I could talk and just sit here and just hit refresh and whew. Okay, got some breaking news for you. You ready for it? Breaking. The hits just keep coming. This one's a big one now. Breaking. Trump just fired David Sundberg, the FBI Assistant Director for Washington. Sundberg led the witch hunt against J6ers and failed to find, quote, any leads on a person who supposedly placed pipe bombs around January 6th. So, as of 3:18, 2 minutes ago, David Sundberg is now history. You, my friend, are fired. And the hits just keep on coming. Maybe that's why he's late to sign the document, because he's still in there just swinging axes on a Friday afternoon. So I thought I'd just bring that to you as it happens, so you can just see how. Just imagine, we've been waiting for Trump to come on, and as we've been waiting for Trump to come on, it just keeps coming. And so he has a game plan somewhere where he's like, it's your turn, and it's do this, and just since we've been talking, not during, I'm talking after the press conference. We've been, talking, and I've been showing you stuff. And if you're a Democrat, and all these things happened, which one do you react to? How do you even figure out? Hey, he told us we got to remove our pronouns by 5 p.m. And he says the Secretary of Agriculture got to remove all climate stuff from websites by 5 p.m. And 51 people who signed the Hunter letter, you're banned from all, federal buildings. And you, FBI director, you're fired. I mean, it's rapid fire procession. Boom, boom, boom. Washington's not designed to work this way. These people have to put their finger up in the air and like, okay, how do I respond? And they can't, because everything. Okay, let's talk about this. But what about this? Oh, I didn't see that one coming. And now you're about to have. Let's see what are they saying here? Waiting, Trump, just waiting. So we're waiting for him to walk out, and it just keeps happening. Wow. When he's on fire, he fires. Yeah. Trump isn't using a broom to sweep up the swamp. He upgraded to a leaf blower. What an analogy. That's so perfect. Get out. I never thought, Ruby Dash says, never thought he'd be happy about so many people being fired. Oh my God! Trump is amplified. He's gone from using a switch to a belt. Oh man, Tree of Liberty. I love this one. Tree of Liberty is being refreshed and sprouting new limbs. Oh my goodness! And so I'm just sitting back and watching Barry and reading all the comments. And I'm just trying to just keep up and wait until he walks out. So we're waiting for him to walk out because he's going to drop some more bombs. It's coming. I can't even. If I were to sit here and say, what executive orders would he do next? Well, one of the things is, okay, I can predict one of these executive orders. I can predict it. Okay, ready for it? I'm almost positive this is one of the executive orders. He talked about putting the tariff on Mexico, China, and Canada, but it hasn't been enacted. So I'm pretty sure if I were a betting man, I would say 3 of these executive orders, unless he does all 3 at one time, would be, here's my executive order, boom, dropping a bomb on Canada. Here's my executive order, boom, I'm dropping a bomb on Mexico. And here's my executive order, I'm dropping a bomb on China. Because before the tariffs can happen, they have to be ordered. He hasn't ordered them yet. They're not on the website. Nothing. Those haven't happened. So that's what he's got to be doing, because he's heading to Mar-a-Lago after this. So he's not going to be signing executive orders in Mar-a-Lago. So that's what's coming. I'm putting my money on that. That's where that's going. To be a fly on his wall. Yeah. So here's what's probably happening when you think about it that way. Hey, yeah. Justin? Yeah. Well, here's the deal. I'm heading to Mar-a-Lago, and Tom's sitting in front of you. I'm getting ready to walk out and sign this. Once I sign this, sorry, can't go back. So what do you want to do? So maybe there might be some last-minute negotiations being done with Mexico and China. Start thinking what's going on behind the scenes. Why is he 25 minutes late? What, Tom Homan's in Canada. I forget. I don't think anybody went to Mexico. Marco Rubio is in Panama. Rick Grinnell is in Venezuela. So he's got all these spokes out there, and all these spokes are saying, here's what we're going to do. And you got, literally, you could almost play the Biden video. By the time I leave here, it better be done. Son of a gun, it happened. But it's no quid pro quo to be happening. But when I leave, the deal leaves with me. So let's check something. What is the Canadian dollar right now? All right. Ooh. All right. So the Canadian dollar is pooping the bed. It's still way down. It's at 69 cents. Let me look at the Mexican peso, which is basically dirt anyway. Yeah, it's straight down. Straight down. As of, hasn't really updated yet. But, all right, so neither one of these currencies are doing anything. They're dying. So you got to wonder at this point, what are they going to do? What are you guys going to do? Even waiting on Trump is a win because no doubt he's doing something for the people. They go into effect February 1st, which is tomorrow. So you guys always catch a very two-finger type. Until somebody mentions what I'm doing, like Robin will come in, are you typing? I don't know. I don't know how to type. I'm not a typist. I don't use all my different hands, but I am fast as you can bet. So I'm probably two fingers, but I'm probably one of the fastest. Like right now I'm reaching over my soundboard, but if I was just typing a document, I can type really fast with two fingers maybe. But no, I'm not. I don't know how to type. Trump needs some R&R and some golfing. I'm sure he's going to get it this weekend. Let's see here. Canadian dollar is 0.69. That used to be a good number. Bye-bye peso. Oh, man, it's sick. It's absolutely sick what he's doing right now and how fast he's moving. So as we're waiting, yes, something has to be going on. My guess is this is their last shot. When I walk out on stage and sign this, guys, it's all over but the crying. That's it. No turning back at this point. So that's probably indeed, I would guess, what is happening. Let's see what else. See if there's anything new. Nothing else. Check it around real quick. No, we're still waiting for Trump, waiting for him to come out. Let me see if Monica posted anything. Nothing new there. So it seems at this point, everybody is waiting for this. Waiting to see what comes out next. Nothing new. Checking all the normal sources to see if anyone's posted anything. Well, I keep you guys here. Oh, this is going to freak people out. This one is going to cause Democrat heads to spin because they're going to challenge and say, how could he have done this? All right. Breaking. Told you. Elon Musk Doge team has locked some federal employees out of their computers. Officials affected by the move can still log on and access functions such as email, but can no longer see the massive data sets that cover every facet of the federal workforce. This is from Reuters. If true, this is an amazing way to stop them from spending money. OMG. Come on. Come on with me. Can you just comprehend what I just read to you? Somehow Doge, I don't mean somehow, probably he's got engineers that can do all kinds of different things. That happened at 3:29. So 1 minute ago, Reuters just reported 1 minute ago that certain federal employees, you can't even access your computers. Yeah, I can check email. I can't click on anything else. I can't send money. I got nothing. What you're seeing at this point, I don't think this is, Barry, you're not being dramatic. This isn't dramatic. Trump is at war with the deep state. Can we all just agree on that at this point? kicking out these people, telling them they can't go into federal buildings, and what's really funny, and tell you how fast, the news can't cover it. The news, because I've got Fox, there's no way they can go this fast. Because now Reuters has publicized it, and Reuters like, hey, who are you hearing it from? And is it true? And it's out there. And Elon Musk is like, yeah, you're done. You can't even imagine that operation. How it took place. Someone had to walk into, whatever tech area of the White House or government, who knows? How do you lock out millions of employees? Millions. That's some serious stuff. That I can't even fathom that. What are y'all thinking about that? AI engineers, definitely, yeah. I don't feel like I'm being overly dramatic by saying that. Hold on a second. What's she saying here?
For the Potomac, acknowledging yesterday that there has not...
Oh, okay. I thought she was talking about the executive orders. But in any event, I don't think it's dramatic to say he's at war. You can see by the moves that he's making at this point that he's really cranking down on them, turning the spigot off. Stopping the money, now to the point you can't even go in any of my buildings. Don't go. No federal buildings can you even enter. And now we're also going to cut off the internet, the ability for you to even get into White House documents. I can't remember any president doing this kind of stuff. Man, Trump is ruffling some feathers. Yeah, you better get some security. I agree, Barry. Yeah, it's Trump to Terminator. That's why we're here, Barry. You keep us 100% more informed than the mainstream media. They can't keep up. I mean, literally, you just sit here and refresh, and it's like, no, he just didn't do that. How did Doge? Okay, here's where the Democrats are going to freak. How are the Democrats going to accept that Doge, which isn't even part of the government per se, getting into these computers and turning stuff off? I don't know. This one. All right. Let me go ahead and bring this one up because this is a big one. This may be the biggest one of all, which is probably going to cause a lot of people trepidation. U.S. military options against Mexican cartels discussed. This was an hour ago. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has discussed the possibility of the U.S. military engaging in special operations against Mexican cartels following President Trump's designation of these groups as foreign terrorist organizations. This statement was made during interviews where Hegseth indicated that all options are on the table, suggesting a potential for military involvement without confirming specific actions. Wow. I am absolutely loving this. I mean, we're literally just sitting here waiting for him to show up, and it's just like bam, 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 bam. So I don't know what's going on in the background, but man, Doge is part of the administration. It's under a charter created by Congress a long time ago. Okay. If the FBI has the authority created by executive order, so does Doge. Gotcha. Oh, you got a little interview coming up here. Let's listen what this guy has to say.
Some Republican senators pressed Tulsi Gabbard in her hearing this week to declare Edward Snowden a traitor. One of those members, James Langford, said that it wasn't a trick question and he was surprised by her answer. Should she have just said yes? Would the White House have approved of that answer?
It's very simple. The policy that Tulsi is going to implement as the head of national intelligence is the president's policy. It is the policy that Republican senators support. It is the policy the American people support. It is the policy of fiercely protecting our nation's classified intelligence while ensuring maximum transparency, and the policy of fully enforcing all federal laws, including the federal laws that govern the illicit disclosure of classified information. Look, President Trump was the victim for 8 years of the intelligence community weaponizing classified leaks, fabricating classified intelligence to go after President Trump. So what Tulsi's mission is to restore trust, faith, and integrity in the U.S. intelligence system. And so when Republican senators vote to confirm Tulsi, they're voting to ratify the reform agenda that Donald Trump campaigned on and that Donald Trump built a historic winning coalition on.
Senate Majority Leader John Thune didn't sound very confident necessarily about her confirmation. Is the White House considering any backup options right now?
She is going to get confirmed. This is a very important point. President Trump built the broadest, most diverse winning coalition in the history of the Republican Party. He brought together old school liberals. He brought together conservative Democrats. He brought together new right Republicans, traditional Republicans. He stitched together a coalition of the young, of minority voters, and of blue-collar workers all across this country. His cabinet reflects that coalition. Americans did not vote for Mitt Romney or a Mitt Romney cabinet. They voted for President Trump and a President Trump cabinet. And Republican senators who won their majority because of President Trump. They have their gavels because of President Trump. They have a majority leader because of President Trump. Should, and I believe will, ratify his cabinet so that we can continue to grow and expand the Republican Party as a permanent majority governing coalition.
Okay. I want to switch gears and ask you about some other candidates. Some Democrats are sounding the alarm on Russ Vought, especially after the OMB memo this week. The Atlantic said that the White House may not have seen that memo before it went out. Had you seen that memo prior to its release? Did you approve of that?
No, I hadn't seen the memo, but I think the more important point here is that the memo was hoaxed. The memo was a guidance memo. The memo did not do anything. The memo provided interpretive guidance on how to apply the president's executive orders. The memo did not change any federal policy. A hoax was created by the media about that memo. The memo being in effect or not being in effect has zero impact on public policy because it was just an interpretive guidance memo. And the media spun this entire thing completely out of proportion. It was, like I said, it was just a straightforward, routine media hoax. Like, it's not normal for the White House to review guidance documents and the White House out of the OMB because guidance documents don't have the force of law, because guidance documents don't set or change federal policy.
Right.
They're just interpretive guidance for agencies. And so the real culprit here is the media for lying about the memo that, again, did not change or set any federal policy.
Can you clear up whether, in fact, this freeze is still in effect? Because I obviously saw the press secretary say memo rescinded, but the orders are still in place. The freeze is still in effect. That's evidently not how DOJ is seeing it. They believe that the brakes have been pumped on this whole thing because of the administrative stay in D.C. and now potentially a temporary restraining order coming out of Rhode Island and the other case with the 22 state attorneys general. So is money for these programs impacted by the president's EOs currently going out the door while the court case plays out?
The president issued executive orders pausing funding for diversity, equity, and inclusion, critical race theory, radical transgender ideology, sex changes.
I'm just
I'm
the judge
answering.
said that there was going to have to be stopped.
Go
ahead.
Either I can answer the question or I can't.
I'm trying to get clarity though, because the judge said Friday.
I'm going to answer your question exactly.
Okay.
The president paused funding for diversity, equity, and inclusion, radical gender ideology, critical race theory, sex changes for minors, foreign aid, as well as certain Green New Deal projects. Also, the resettlement of illegal aliens and the funding to NGOs that resettle illegal aliens. Those are all discretionary, agency-directed spending projects that are not required by law, that are not required by Congress. In addition, every federal agency in its own right has not only the authority, but the mandate and the requirement from Congress to review grants, to review contracts, to review new conditions for federal spending, and to ensure there is no waste, to ensure there is no abuse, to ensure that the bureaucracy is not acting unaccountably. This entire case that we're talking about is a hoax piled on top of a hoax piled on top of a hoax. The case is debating nothing. It concerns nothing. It makes no sense. And people have been spending way too much time talking about it. Federal agencies have an affirmative mandate from Congress to review new spending that goes out the door. In other words, contracts are issued. They are drawn up. An entity asks for federal dollars. They say, I want money to build X. I want money to do Y. I want money to teach Z.
Right,
then that agency has to review that, and they have to decide whether that is a meritorious use of taxpayer dollars. For the government not to perform that function would mean that all money was issued automatically without any conditions whatsoever. I'm not aware of any citizen who thinks that would be a just or virtuous outcome.
I fully understand your position, Stephen. I was asking just a different question of while this administrative stay is in place because a D.C. judge put it there, is any money going out the door while we approach that deadline, which I think is Monday?
Again,
so
the money is going out the door for all of the things that are required by law, for all of the things that affect benefits to individual Americans. Money is not going out the door for critical race theory. Money is not going out the door to trans our children. Money is not going out the door to help organizations traffic children and resettle illegal aliens. And every department and every agency is using its discretion under law to ensure that contracts comply with the will and desires of taxpayers. To not do that would mean that individual bureaucrats would be able to funnel billions of dollars out the door to their friends and to their allies with zero accountability.
We got a
memo that did nothing was enjoined, so therefore nothing changed because the memo didn't do anything in the first place.
I really don't want to cut off this interview and go to a hard break, but Stephen, thank you very much for explaining all that. Appreciate your time.
The most important thing is that we're not funding the programs that open our borders, that hurt our children, that undermine public safety. President Trump is defending the American people, the American taxpayer, and he is restoring American democracy, and that is why he has overwhelming public support and approval.
You got it. Stephen Miller, thank you very much.
Thank you.
You got it. Even Fox, forget CNN, ABC, even Fox can't do anything about what this man's doing. Stephen Miller, Stephen Miller he just walked out there and basically, you saw it. They don't care. You can tell what I was saying yesterday and earlier today, where they now have the attitude, I don't give a F. You can see it. You can see the swagger. These people just don't care. We're done dealing with BS. We're done dealing with BS people. Don't step to me. Don't come to me if you don't know what you're talking about. I'm going to shred you. And so you get these people who are talking heads who are reading teleprompters and screens and have no idea what they're talking about. All she wanted to say, well, the judge said, like, I don't give a crap what the judge said. We're not spending any money. Wow. Woof, there it is. Welcome to the new media. All right, so it is now 3:44. Trump was supposed to come out at 3 p.m. He's supposed to be on a plane relatively soon. Ain't gonna make it, so something is going on in the background quite obviously. Let me see if they've changed his calendar at all. They've updated. No, I can show this to you guys so you can see it. This is the Trump calendar, and it's probably too small for you. But yeah, this one here, 3 o'clock, he was supposed to sign the orders, and then he was supposed to get on a plane. He's supposed to head over to Joint Base Andrews at 5 p.m. Now, I remember when Caroline Leavitt was talking. I don't know if you remember back to just a little while ago when she was doing the press conference. She said he had a lunch meeting with somebody from some country. I'm looking to see if it's in here. She said he had an off-calendar meeting with some leader of some country. So whatever he was doing in between the press conference and coming out and signing these orders has delayed him. And we're all waiting. I'm looking at various different networks, but he's not out there. Someone said helicopter flights have been restricted at the national airport. This apparently has a significant meaning. I won't say what I think it means. I haven't seen that yet. Trump just called me. He's putting ink in his pen. Wonders up with Trump being this late. Like I'm going to put the money on he's working on the deal with Canada and Mexico. That would make the most sense to me at this point. Okay, that's what it was. Okay, thank you, Robert. Robert remembered this was the meeting that he was going to be meeting with the CEO of NVIDIA. Big company. Big, lots of money. So he was supposedly meeting with, I don't know how you say it, Jensen Huang from NVIDIA. That's exactly who it was. Thank you very, very much. No, okay, let me just explain this. He said no, he said that tomorrow the tariffs would happen. All right. The tariffs go into effect tomorrow at whatever time, but they will not go into effect until he signs an order saying they're going to go into effect. As of right now, there's no order. Let me just check to make sure that nothing was filed overnight, so I don't look stupid. Hold on. Let me just check here. Presidential actions. Okay, I can confirm that as of right now. Okay, somebody said this. Okay, hold on. You can hear this.
Meantime, border crossings.
They did a quick hit, and the quick hit said restricted, exactly what that gentleman said. No helicopter traffic around the airport. I don't know what that means. Guy here said he thought something. He knew. I don't want to say what he thinks. Dude, tell us, what does that mean that they've restricted helicopter traffic? Interesting. I don't know. Maybe some of you guys. But anyway, back to the orders. As of right now, there is no executive order which is instructing there to be a tariff to be put on China, Mexico, or Canada. He would have to have an order. There's no order. So until he comes out and signs an order that says, I'm putting a tariff on China, Mexico, and Canada, he's talked about it. It doesn't go into effect on its own. You have to make an order. So he may be talking to somebody right now saying, when I get up here and I walk out, I'm going to sign it. What you got for me? Give me an idea as to, what do you want me to do? Stephen Miller is the man for the Trump team. He doesn't take any crap. No, he doesn't. The guy knows. Somebody said that the helicopter may have been remotely hacked. Interesting. Let's see that. Mountain Man fishing. He jumped out it before I did. Damn, Mountain Man. How you just going to break it before I was going to do the break it? I was talking about the hold on, let me see this one here. You guys are fast. All right, so you got two things here. First, Mountain Man post. Governor Ron DeSantis announced he wants to end illegal immigration once and for all. This is exactly what we want. I thought you were going to talk about something else that Ron DeSantis just did. Ron DeSantis, my governor, for those of us here in Florida, here's another, liberal head explosion type thing right now. Boom. Breaking. Keeps breaking. Governor DeSantis calls on the state's legislature to pass a bill allowing Floridians to open carry firearms. Would be great to see open carry bill hit my desk. Florida needs to join the overwhelming majority of states and protect this right. Open carry is legal in the state under most circumstances. Wow. Yeah, it's about to get real up in here. It's about to get real up in here. So somebody else had mentioned this. Somebody mentioned rapid response team posted on X about the helicopters not being able to fly around the airport. Those of you who understand what the rapid response team, that is something that Trump's team put in place so they can begin quickly putting information out. I'm looking to see here. Yep, here it is. All right, Sean Duffy put this out. It's a long one. It's a long one. Okay, here we go. Let's read this in terms of what. Let me move the comment so you guys can actually see it yourself. New. With the support of POTUS and in consultation with the Secretary of Defense, effective today, the FAA will restrict helicopter traffic around Ronald Reagan Washington National Airport. Today's decision will immediately help secure the airspace near Reagan, ensuring the safety of airplane and helicopter traffic. This is part of the Department of Transportation's ongoing commitment to safeguarding our nation's skies, yada, yada, yada. We will continue to support POTUS. His directive to achieve uncompromised aviation safety, the restricted area, and he goes into the map as to what is restricted, basically the entirety of the airport area. Okay, so I don't know what that means. I'm not a pilot. Don't even want to pretend being a pilot, so I would need somebody who's a pilot to actually come in and tell us what this means. Excuse me. Guess we can guess. That's pretty important stuff. Looking around, and Trump still hasn't come out yet. Let me just keep looking. Nope, we still don't have anything yet. Rewinding and refreshing to make sure I haven't missed anything. 1 second. 1 second. Nope, nothing yet. Nothing as of yet. Let me check my other monitor. Nope, everybody's kind of just in a holding pattern. So we're waiting for him to come out. I'm sorry it's taken so long. I don't control this, so I don't know what the holdup is. But as soon as it happens, we will get to it to find out what these orders are. Let's see, Cowboys with Ask Monkey Works. Yeah, almost anything can be hacked, especially your phone or Android or anything else. Yeah, it means less air traffic to be controlled. Sure. Yep, exactly. He is shutting her down. Quick but obvious action for a change. What about military? Let's see. Trump is watching your video, fellow Barry. Remember the plane that took off in Seattle? Don't remember that. Out of respect for the pilot, they will not be releasing the pilot's name. Interesting. Okay, so who is this crazy? She has no clue. Woke liberals. Looking at here. All right, we're waiting and we're waiting and we're waiting, and I don't know what he's doing, so we're gonna have to see what's going on. Looking at the usual suspects to see if anything new is coming in. What? Okay, I'm waiting to see. Waiting for Alex Jones. Doesn't say anything. Nope, nobody seems to really know what's happening right now and why we're all on standby. Let me just look here. Hold on. Well, what I'm going to do is I have another video we can talk about, but I'm going to have to bring it in so that we could play it. Hold on, let me see if I can do it. I'll do it because I don't know how much longer we're going to be here. So I keep saying I haven't seen any cancellation, and let me take a second and run a commercial for Lear. Be right back. As you know, President Trump has assembled the Avengers to make America great again. And of course, we're all excited and ready to see them get to work. But with everything we're seeing right now, don't take your eye off the ball. Things could get much worse before they get better. With the possibility of World War III still looming, and with the Democrats doing everything they can to impede Trump, you still need to keep your guard up and your money protected. Oh, and our national debt is still massively increasing. Don't get me wrong, I have high hopes for Trump's America, but I also have a family to look out for. You see, Trump and the Avengers have quite the uphill battle ahead. That's why I'm making sure I'm protected, and I'm recommending that you do the same. One way to be protected is by diversifying your portfolio. That's why on this channel I've been happy to partner with Lear Capital. As you know, I've been involved in real estate for quite some time. And although I dabbled in gold and silver, Kevin and his staff at Lear have helped to educate me even further, especially in regards to silver. Give Lear a call today and they'll show you how easy it is to move some of your savings or your retirement account into gold and silver. Gold and silver have been proven to hold value and protect wealth for the long term. Call Lear today at 800-601-5430 or go to learberry.com to get your free gold and silver wealth protection guides. There's no obligation, just free information. Many of you have seen my interviews with Lear founder Kevin Demerit, and I can tell you this company is solid and likes to educate their customers. Just so you know, Lear has over 27 years of experience, thousands of 5-star reviews, and over $3 billion in trusted transactions, and is the only company with a 24-hour risk-free purchase. You don't pay unless you're 100% satisfied. So call 800-601-5430 or go to learberry.com. And when you call, don't forget to ask how you can get up to $15,000 in bonus gold or silver with a qualifying purchase. So if you'd like to take advantage of this opportunity, please call my friends at Lear Capital at 800-601-5430 and tell them Barry sent you. All right, so somebody said that they thought that the press conference was on hold until 5:30. I don't see that. Don't see that anywhere. You guys see that? Because I don't see that. Don't see it anywhere on any of the sites that I'm looking for. So I don't really know if that is true. I'm looking at a number of different pages, and I don't see anything updated that this has been kicked to 4:30. Hold on, let me just make sure. Because if it's kicked to 5:30, then I'll jump. But let me see if anybody has it. Don't have anybody who has that. I don't see it. Has anyone seen if this thing is kicked to 5:30? If it's clicked to 5:30, I'll come back on. You know what? Okay, RSBN mentioned that it's delayed. Is it delayed to 5:30? Okay, so if it's delayed to 5:30, what I'll probably do, I'm looking to see if I get any information. RSBN has a rerun. Fox isn't even running it, so it's probably, I was talking with a colleague of the Black Hawk pilot, so I don't know. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try one thing here. I'm going to try and see if possible, if we can find out from Monica if it's been delayed. Give me a second. I'm going to put up our banner here, which is Be Right Back. And then what we'll do is I'll have myself or Ashley will try to get a hold of Monica to see if this thing has indeed been pushed back or not. So give me a second, a couple minutes to figure out what's going on. Okay, so in doing some research and talking to a few people, 5:30. So we're going to cut it right now. No way for me to hold you guys for an hour and a half. So we're going to cut right now. And then I guess I'll fire it up at 5:30. And we'll finish off the day with what he was going to do. Just make sure I'm checking. Because nobody seems to be mentioning it, and I just don't want to keep you guys sitting here. Let me just make one more check, see if the White House posted anything, and if not, we'll go eat. Everybody take some time, and then we'll come back and jump on. All right, so let me do this. I don't want to leave without acknowledging super chats. Okay, here we go. Tommy Radcliffe, I can and will answer any airline aviation question you have. I was an airline captain instructor, FAA check airman with 17,000 hours, and I was based at Reagan. I know it. All right, Tommy. Yeah, tell me. We'll talk about that later. Watch the libs all call for Trump to be considered mentally unfit for office. Yeah, they'll try something, that's for sure. Who's playing the awesome electric guitar intro? It's funny, some people don't like her. Some people want me to change it again. But that would be Sophie Burrell. Ernst Walker, tariffs are going online. Does that mean that the IRS is abolished? Not yet. Not yet. Very love your content and your character. Speaking of character, how's it? You look like Popeye and Brutus all in one t-shirt. Oh, you're killing me. I told you it was Casual Friday. Yeah, boy. Party dog. And that you all and Barry for keeping me and my wife not only informed, but also captivated and entertained. Thank you very much for that. Beverly Litton. It's the globalist agenda. They went full out worldwide against Trump in his first term. And now look at them. Yep. Party dog. The left is now getting everything they deserve for talking nonstop crap on the American people and America itself. God has had it, and President Trump is now the second arrival. Good. Eggchin22X. Media is busy talking about past and Transformers. They can't keep up while channels like yours report on it in real time as it happens. They have no... They can't survive. They can't survive. Elon is killing them. Everybody is just walking over them at this point. That's why they're all leaving. Let's see here. Velta. Barry, I'm sure I learned about the tariffs on your show back when Justin Trudeau went to Mar-a-Lago. DJT asked what it would do to Canada. He said it would crush them. Yeah, those were actually Justin Trudeau's words. He said if they went into effect, if those tariffs went into effect, it would crush the Canadian economy. So I would think there's some really serious conversations going on before tomorrow. Beverly Litton, hope Elon doubles down on preventing voter fraud. Yeah. I think we're going to see a lot of stuff happen. These people are done. Make a clip of Trump's "You're fired." Get the heck out of here and clip it each left eye. Oh, yeah, I should do that. But you know what the problem is? The Apprentice has a copyright on that, and they will enforce that. T. Mallet, thank you. R. Michael Nace. The difference between a professional business guy and a politician. Get it done. Yep. Don't look for excuses not to. Find ways to get it done. Retro Bill. When your office sucks, make a whole lot of sense to concentrate on punting. Oh man, Smooth FX. I know you dislike I know you dislike giving the Dems a game plan, but their only way out of this is to appear to go along with the winning. Take credit for being a part of the new. That would be very smart. It would be very smart for them to play along and figure out a way to do it even better, but that's not in their mentality. Their ideology, they sold out. They want to be Marxist, and those two ideologies can't coexist. So they're in big trouble. Born on the 4th, is there a procedure called a frontal lobe transplant? Because many of these nuts need one. Agreed. Michael Clark, Mesa Mike, I'm going to start a betting pool on the over-under for how many times you play the Trump winning video. I'm already looking to see where else I can put it. You hear that? That's the Chihuahua. He growls at everything. Where I can put it on my board. Thank you. Michael Clark again. Hey Barry, can you confirm if Sonny Hostin was fired? I see some stories circulating. I will let me go ahead and write that down to check about Sonny Hostin. That would be worth a winning soundbite. That's for sure. I will check that before we sign off. Will you shut up? Not you. Him. Growling at everything. He growls at air. Captain Danny Burrow. The Dems keep hitting themselves in the head over and over again. Nancy Jennings, thank you. I know Rush Limbaugh is up in heaven wishing he had met you. You were 2 peas in a pod. I could only wish I could be like El Rushbo. Gabe Brunel, thank you very much. Gabe Brunel, thank you very much again. Not seeing any movement, so this thing is definitely pushed back. It sucks is when that stuff happens and they don't even announce it, so nobody knows. Gail Sterryberry, does Trump's banning of these people from all federal offices mean post offices too? That's a federal building. Post office is federal. Nope, they can't go in there. Better drop it off outside. Beverly Linton, Shell Oil offshore New Jersey wind farms. They quit their offshore New Jersey wind farms. Wow. Sandy, dowel over your left shoulder. We see eyes is creepy. That's not a dowel. It's not a dowel. Well, it is. It's a little thing with the little white thing back there. Yeah. Believe it or not, that little white thing with the little creepy eyes is a little Maltese I wanted at a fair for Robin. It's a little Maltese. Look, it doesn't look much different than the actual Maltese. Donald Donovan, as a disabled Army veteran, I 100% agree with you about the card idea. I had to drive 70 miles one way when I needed to go to the VA. Something wrong with that, man. Something wrong with that. He shouldn't have to do it. Joy Kirkland, Eli Whitney invented the cotton gin in 1793. Okay. Ernest Walker, America the Beautiful from Sea to Shining Sea. They keep playing her press conference this morning. You know it's bad when the people on television are talking about how well she looks. Brad Crane, all this winning was planned months ago. Oh yeah, you can bet this stuff was planned. Joy Kirkland again, if they're wondering if they still have a job, then they probably don't. Like me, if you've been working every day, then yes, you would still have a job. I believe Joy had mentioned one time she works for the government, and so, or has worked for the government, so she understands going into the office and everything. Born on the 4th, the gravy train is being pushed off the racks. That is true, deservedly so. Talk about saving the American people money. Yeah. Thank you, Tahare Garakani. Thank you. Lady Addie, thank you. Keep the win-ins coming and the L's for them. This is huge. Gail Stare, thank you. Please excuse my dog. He just has an attitude. Super Bean, I wish I was a fly on the wall in the White House. Heads must be exploding everywhere. The party is over. Get out. Daddy is home. Yeah, and he doesn't care. Demon of Cybertron, no sympathy for the EPA. I want my V8s back. Midas. Steve Lukomsky. Will President Trump do something about the Senate vote for Cash, Tulsi, or RFK as soon as possible? About that, I don't know if you saw, but yesterday a couple people were reporting that Trump said, quote, he is going to go scorched earth on these people if they don't get it done. I'm looking to see if I can find it. I think George put it up too. A bunch of people were talking about it. Let me see if I can find it. Where is it? Let you guys, okay, here it is, this one here. Insiders have revealed that President Trump is prepared to go scorched earth against any Republican senators who vote against the confirmations of Tulsi Gabbard and RFK Jr. Quote, if they try to touch Tulsi and Kennedy, then it's war. If Tulsi or Bobby face real trouble, that's when Trump will really start to fight. They represent the challenging of the status quo of the bureaucracy. That's what MAGA is all about. Can you imagine for an instant that what we've been witnessing isn't scorched earth yet? If what he's been doing isn't scorched earth yet, I don't want to know what scorched earth is going to look like. That would give me chills if I was a politician. I'm going to go scorched earth if you don't put these people in. What in the hell have you been doing? Is this just a warm up? You mean there's a worse FAFO, another fedora? You can get worse than this? Oh yeah, you haven't seen me yet. Probably what he's saying. Whew, I saw that. I was like, don't let it happen. Scott, backdraft, Esselman, Barry. It's not Pete Buttigieg. It's Pete. Put it in a. Oh man. Raise, Trump using ghost army tactics, keeping them focused on DEI while he surrounds them. Now, I know some of you guys, I may have lost some of you in that thinking and talking about it, but to me, it makes sense. You're fighting them and making them defend what they hold dear to the point where it matters more than it. I mean, I wrote it down. You saw it during the press conference. She had to remind them, a bunch of hostages got released. Oh, DEI, trans, DEI. Okay, you guys keep focusing on that stuff while the American people enjoy what's happening. Who's this from? Retro Bill. Where is it? We don't need to censor. Quite the opposite. Every time they open their incoherent pie holes, they do our work for us. Rhonda Hedrick, thank you. Wow, Ernest Walker, thank you very much. Kamala was unqualified for the position that she applied for. That's why she lost. And for them to say that they would have rather gone back to Biden, that's kind of scary. Why do our feet smell and noses run? I bet you did that thinking to yourself, Barry won't post that. He won't show it. Nope, if it's a super chat, I'm going to post it. So, Tommy Ratcliffe, 16... When 16, why are they kidding? We're all the same, Barry, and I proved it the other night. Jennifer Seidel, air traffic control is the highest stress job. I can imagine. You're basically in control of hundreds of people's lives at a time. Check out remote helos. Yep. Yes. I have heard. I have heard about that. Tommy, hey everyone, it's a sad day for all. My nephew Chase was flying the airplane that crashed just hours before he had signed it over to the next crew. Whoa. So let me get this right. Tommy, your nephew Chase was the pilot of the plane that crashed, and he didn't take that flight that night and signed it over to another crew. Wow. Wow. Prayers, brother. Prayers. Whew. God was looking out for him. Demon of Cybertron, Al Sharpton is not upset. He's happy because he's making money on the grifting. Yeah, ask Costco. Joy Kirkland, in my opinion, Al Sharpton is a special kind of stupid. Can Trump sue him for defamation for speaking lies against him? He could. He's been suing other people, so we shall see. If you feel like everything is chaos, just hang on tight. He has a plan. It will be okay. Winning. I'm watching Fox right now. He's not coming out anytime soon because they're just running. I think this is Will Kane that's on right now. Shoshone girl, thank you. Can you imagine if Trump said it live on TV? FAFO. I tune in. I'd take a screenshot of that. Stephen Anderson, DJT, opening up a large can of whoop ass. He definitely is. We're definitely seeing it. So what I'm going to do is, obviously, I'm going to finish here, and then I'll look to see what time. I mean, don't want to keep you guys waiting. I don't want to screw my schedule up. So hopefully it's around 5:30. I can jump on. We can do a short broadcast. Ashley David, I'm late to the party today, but hey everyone, hope you're doing good, Barry. Thank you, Ashley. You got a cool name, Ashley. Bradley Andrews, may the peace of our Lord be with you, Barry and Robin, your whole family, and all of your followers, and to you as well. That's very nice of you to say. Julie McClure, I get it. Appreciate your analysis. I look forward to your podcast every day. Thank you very much. And understand, I am not trying to offend. I am not trying to impart my views. I just want you guys to maybe just take a perspective and say, and look at what's going on. And understanding, excuse me, all you have to do is see how these people are reacting. And as you're watching how they're reacting, it kind of tells you a lot. I mean, it tells you a whole lot. They got nothing. Absolutely nothing. And it's kind of scary in a certain way. Because how can these people be so lost, so adrift? Yeah, it could be Christianity. It could be that God's put scales on their eyes. Because they don't seem to have any clue as to what's going on. I mean, just clueless. Beverly, Barry, keep doing what you're doing. It keeps us informed as to what Glenn Beck created as conservative rules for radicals years ago. Yep. Now understand, Glenn Beck didn't create that. He started publicizing it. That's Saul Alinsky. Saul Alinsky is someone that Hillary Clinton was a mentor of hers. That entire Saul Alinsky rules for radicals, that's how they live. That's how they've strategized for years. So you can look it up and see it. Shelly Ramos, I want Barry in those briefings. That would be fun. That would be really fun. I'm so happy for those guys. Now, the problem I have with what they did today. Now, you guys, you saw they flew up there. The guy put on his suit and tie. He was ready for a question. And he asked a question. And he didn't take into account what these people do. And so she even prodded him. You got another question? Nope, I'm good. Bro, you got invited to the White House and your thing shriveled up on you. You need to come up there with like 4 or 5 questions, make her say, I'm going to move on now. She asked you, you got anything else? You had an opportunity for, you flew to Washington and you had 1 question? You do hour-long podcasts, you had 1 question for the press secretary? Oh, I'm telling you, if I get the call and they say you going up there, I'm like, okay. And she goes, hey, okay, Barry, would you like to, what would you like to know? Hold on. Blah, 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 blah. And I'm going to have like 3, and she's going to have to tell me, okay, we got to move on. Thank you very much, ma'am. But I'm not going to go to all the way to Washington and have her call on me. And that's all you got? Yeah, sorry. Come on, man. Represent. You represented all of us and you folded. I congratulate you for getting the call, but how in the hell did you go to Washington, sit in the hot seat, get the first question and then have the cojones shrivel up on you. Sorry. I'm sorry. The majority of the left has no problem lying. Just look at what the Dems interviewing RFK, Bondi, Tulsi. Yep, they lie. It's like a sport for them. In fact, wait a minute. This is the guy who, wait. This is him right now. He happens to be on Fox. So hold on. Let's listen to this guy talk. I want to know why you only asked one question.
Much more direct connection to those in power.
That's
happy
what it's
for
all
you
about.
guys, Holmes, Smug, Duncan, yourself. Happy for all of you guys. Look forward to seeing you soon, man. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Will.
All right.
Dude, you went up there and had one question. All right. Mary Solers, Trump, no apologies, take no prisoners. Yep. And again, I'm not saying anything bad about the dude. I'm just like, man, dude, you had the opportunity. You were right there. Lynn Goldmeyer, the Dem shows and tells what they're going to do. I like and want to see both sides in order to be prepared. I'm telling you, that's the two of them. Mamma Mia, Bongino show listed several times during the last Trump admin that did fight DEI. Okay. And Cairo Berry is bringing it. Let's just get this party started. Thank you very much. Let me see if anything popped in at the top. Stop DEI lunatic spreading IED to blow us up. Thank you for all you do to help me learn, MAGA. That's what I'm trying to give you guys the opportunity to look things up for yourself as well. Senny Holston, according to Grok, has not been fired as of yet. Let's see here. I love that you guys are using Grok too. Tommy says Chase may come on next week if the company allows him to speak a single word. Ooh. Oh, you've already spoken to Ashley about it. Oh, that would be an interesting interview without him getting fired or something, Tommy. We'll be all over that. Have I heard the new Gulf of America song? Nope, I haven't. Go ahead and send it to me. I'd love to hear it. Party Dog. It was President Trump in the second coming of Michael the Archangel. Archangel, not Archangel. No, Dave. That helicopter pilot that everybody was talking about was not the Transformer. At least it doesn't appear to be, because they did a video today, which would be very kind of hard to do if they were the one. So before I go, let me do one more sweep on things, see if anything else has broken. All right, so now we have another judge. This judge. A crooked judge in Rhode Island just officially blocked President Trump's spending freeze, claiming the actions likely violate the Constitution and statutes of the United States. During the pendency of the TRO, defendants shall not pause, freeze, impede, block, cancel, or terminate defendants' compliance with awards and obligations to provide federal financial assistance to states, and defendants shall not impede, blah, 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 blah. So this Nimrod is probably, Trump foresaw all of this. There's no doubt that he foresaw all of this happening. And one of the things that Clarence Thomas has said, and Clarence Thomas has said this many a times, and it's never been taken up. So now we got a perfect time for this to be taken up. Local judges should not, and I don't believe have the power to issue a national injunction. So that's something I think needs to be tested relatively soon, how these people, some guy in Rhode Island, can decide, because they're going to do job shopping, and I can look this guy up and probably find out he was appointed by Obama or somebody. Let's see here. Yep. How'd I know? He was appointed by Barack Obama in 2011. So they can shop for judges, and they can go ahead and try to see what they're going to do. They'll put it in front of someone who's obviously been put in place by Obama. That's what they do. Trump knows this. He absolutely knows this. This isn't something that is by surprise. It's crazy. What else we got here? Okay, so this is interesting. President Trump may have just saved New York City taxpayers millions of dollars with his tariff on Canada. The city ordered $1,000 trash cans from the Canadians and could now be forced to find a cheaper U.S. manufacturer. Trump tariffs threatened to roll out of the NYC's $1,000 trash cans tomorrow. Yeah. How about you not steal from your constituents? How about you not let your constituents realize you're stiffing them like that? Doing one more search. I'm looking at Caroline's stuff right now. See if she's posted, and then if she hasn't posted, then we'll bounce because it's obviously been delayed big time. Not sure why, but we'll find out. And that's going to be it. Let me see if Trump posted anything. One more check, and I'm checking and checking. All right, so RSBN has a repeat on, and Fox's has a regular programming. So that's going to be it for me. And then we'll go ahead and see. I'll look to see if something gets scheduled at 5:30. I may not be able to give much of a warning. It may be like, hey, we're on, and it will be a short. It'll be a short, unless I can find some content to wrap around it. All right, thank all of you for super chats and for tuning in, and we'll see relatively shortly what's going on. Maybe we got some breaking news. Maybe he actually puts it in place. It's going to be very interesting to see what's happening. All right, talk to you guys probably in an hour. We'll see.
Thank you.